Back here in Cincinnati, the Reds have taken the field and we're ready for baseball. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. 46 degrees. It is cool, light winds. You see the humidity is high and it is wet. Let's take a look at the Giants lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll go like this. It'll be Panic, Belt, who hits the ball very well in this park, followed by Pence, Posey, and Morris. Arroyo will hit in the 6th slot, then it's Nunez, Hernandez, and Matt Cain.
14-year vet on the mound. Bronson Arroyo's second stint here with the Reds. Pretty good numbers against the Giants overall in his career, but he does give up a lot of homers, and you see already this year he's given 6 homers up in his limited start, so he will feed you a ball that you can hit out of the ballpark, so hopefully we take advantage of that. 47% fastballs. He throws, seems like a lot for a guy that likes to mix it up, but he mixes it up with his arm slot. And you're going to see sliders a lot of times coming in 2-0 counts, hitters counts. He likes to throw off speed when behind the count, so hopefully we can attack him early and get a homer here.
So here's Panic. So we get started at 8:30. So an hour and 50 minutes delay. But we are underway as Panic takes a breaking ball for a strike. That's basically what you're going to get. You're going to get just about anything from Bronson Arroyo. And he's at the point in his career where he can just make some stuff up as he goes along.
Yeah, you saw he dropped down a little bit on that last pitch to him, on that curveball.
Panic does not have any lifetime numbers against Bronson Arroyo, but the next 4 guys do. So here's the 1-2 to Joe Panic, and he slices it foul and out of play. Belt, Pence, Posey, and then Morris. Giants come into the game 11-18. The Reds are 14-14. It's DeMuth, Nauert, Cuccione, and Torres. DeMuth behind the dish and the crew chief. Panic takes strike 3 call, and that's how this game gets started.
Well, left to right, you have Duvall, Hamilton, Shebler, Votto at first, Peraza at second, Cozart playing short, Suarez third, and Arroyo pitching, and then Mesoraco throwing down the fingers and arguing balls and strikes with the umpire.
Here's Belt. Belt hitting .260, 4 home runs, 14 driven in. Belt's got good numbers against Bronson Arroyo. He's 7 for 14. The overshift is on, and it's inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Saw with that last at bat, he's not afraid, even though he's only throwing 86, to go inside on you. He tends to throw that little 2-seamer that comes back, freezes lefties quite often. You'll see that a lot tonight from him.
And it's 2-0 to Belt. Belt, who definitely will take his walks. He's a lot like the Cincinnati Reds first baseman in Joey Votto. It's 3-0 with Hunter Pence to follow. It is a cool and brisk night here at the ballpark. These fans have hung in there for an hour and 50 minutes. And what does he throw on a 3-0 pitch? A breaking ball.
You'll see a lot of those. Like I said, he does not give in to hitters. He doesn't think he has to. He feels he's got good enough command to throw whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And he's always been that way. And even taking 2 years off, he's showing you again he's not really going to give in to you.
Hunter Pence has had 48 career at-bats against Bronson Arroyo. 14 hits, 4 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. And a fastball high, 1-0. So for the first time tonight, Arroyo will pitch out of the stretch with Belt at first. Belt's got 1 steal, with Buster Posey on deck. Outfield straight away for Pence. And it's low. It's 2-0. Shebler is fairly shallow in right. And as we all know, this is a small ballpark, and the ball carries well. It's a really tough combination for fly ball pitchers. Pence gets a breaking ball and he pops it up. It's going to be Votto who's going to put it away.
Again, another 2-0 off-speed pitch. You're going to see it. You just, until our guys can stay back and be ready to and know that he's not going to throw me fastballs in my count. He just will not do it. He never has done it. I've never seen him do it. This is what he's going to do to you, and he's going to get you to do that pop up to the infield.
That's 6 straight balls, and he threw that breaking ball. So here's Buster Posey. Buster at 346. He's got a couple of home runs. He's got 5 driven in. And he takes a pitch in tight. 1 ball and no strikes. He's got a double and 1 lifetime home run off of Arroyo. So Belt at first. And a pop-up, and that's going to be out of play.
He's got an interesting delivery that you don't see a lot. If you watch him close, he kicks that back foot up. Instead of kind of lifting up halfway or kind of quick stepping to home, you'll see him. He actually kicks his foot back up to his hamstring to quick pitch to home plate, because he has that other, when he's in the windup, he has that stiff leg coming out, coming in. He tries to keep that leg under him.
There's an 85-mile-an-hour fastball in on the hands, and it's 1-2.
So you'll see right here, see how he kicks that back leg up and behind his calf. It allows him to stay back over the rubber a lot easier with his delivery from his windup, so it keeps everything feeling the same. And he's pretty quick to home plate. He doesn't seem to get a lot of guys wanting to steal on him because of that.
1-2 to Buster Posey. And Buster bounces this one to Cozart, and that'll end the inning. So Arroyo pitches through a 1-out walk. Kane coming out. Hamilton to lead things off. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be the very fast Billy Hamilton to lead things off, followed by Cozart and then Joey Votto, and he's hot right now. The former Giant will hit cleanup Duvall, Suarez, Schebler, and then Peraza. Devin Mesoraco is back in the lineup. He's hitting 8th, and Arroyo will hit 9th.
Most consistent starter for the Giants so far this year on the mound, Matty Kane. You see 3 home runs allowed. He's done a really good job of just keeping the ball off the barrel, limiting walks. He's not walking a lot of guys, and he's not giving up a lot of hits. You'll see there he had 23 hits to 27 innings pitched, which means he's being very effective in the strike zone, making him very effective on the year. So you see those pitch uses, 55% fastballs. He is mixing it up. Back about 3-4 years ago, you'd probably see more like 70% fastballs. He's starting to throw his curveballs and sliders and changeups in the count, but he is utilizing his fastball very well, keeping it off the barrel. And this guy he's about to face right here kind of owns him a little bit, and he needs to do a good job keeping the ball off the barrel. And this guy keeping him off the base paths.
Yeah, he's 4 for 6 lifetime, and he starts him off with a called strike. Hitting at 214. He's got a home run. He's got 7 driven in, and he will put the pressure on the defense. As you can see, Arroyo and Nunez literally playing halfway. And that's to the back foot, and they're going to say no swing. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hamilton has to do a little dance to get out of the way. Cozart to follow.
214 seems a little light, huh, Kite? For a guy that has speed, I mean, speed supposedly never slumps, but it doesn't seem like he's.
Now look, I'm sure the Reds have done all the due diligence that you need to do with a guy like that. Force him to hit the ball on the ground, force him to bunt. If he hits the ball in the air, it's just not a good thing.
Seems like he cheats pretty good. Like right there, he got jammed real good on that ball. Like I don't know if he knows. I'm not bought in that he knows how to hit yet. I think it's get on and then just run around out there. But he can play great defense. But I think he still has a lot of talent left in him. But pulling guys in like that, that'll help you if you know what you're doing.
Here's the 2-2 offering to Hamilton, and it's in the dirt. So it's 3-2. Yeah, then of course, look, and the one thing you can't do if you're King is walk him.
Good as a hit with this guy.
Yeah, he might know that more than anybody.
Got his 200th bag last night back.
Oh, goodness.
Giants defense, left to right. You got Baby Giraffe playing left, Belt, Hernandez playing center. Buster Posey's other best friend, Pence, playing right, Morse playing first, Panic second base, Nunez filling in for the injured Crawford at short. Young kid just brought up, Arroyo, Matt Cain pitching and throwing down fingers and arguing with umpires, Buster Posey.
Here's Cozart. Cozart's off to a very nice start. Hamilton's got 16 steals, so if Cain can give Buster Posey a shot. This was the 3-2 pitch to Hamilton that Cain thought he had a strike.
I thought he had a strike too. That ball, see, man, that's a tight zone. But Demuth is known. He has a tight zone. He'll make you throw strikes, and he's gonna, he's really gonna force you to hit the corners. But he does like to ring you up. When he wants to ring you up, he'll let you know it.
There's a called strike. Cain trying to just break the rhythm of Hamilton with his lead at first, because he wants to go. That's why he's playing. He does not go. And there's a broken bat base hit into left center field. Hamilton is going to go to third. Wisely thrown to second by Hernandez.
You saw, man, you saw Cozart looking right there. If he was going to throw to third, he was taking second base. So that was keeps the double play in order.
Doesn't really, Cain catches a bad break here. He made a pretty good pitch. Up.
It's up, yep.
So here's Votto. Votto hitting at 270.
See him right here, man, how fast he is. I mean, that's a shallow fly ball, and he just turns on his afterburner right there, hoping to draw that throw, I think, and Cozart trying to get the second.
So Votto takes a curveball for a strike. He's faced Cain 32 times. He's 9 for 32 with a couple of doubles and a home run. Chokes up just a little bit as Cain's next pitch is wide. If you're Matt Cain, at this point in the game, you just try to limit the damage now.
Double play is as good as anything. You might give up a run, but it's early. And Votto can hit in double plays. He can hit homers, but he can hit double plays with the best of them.
Down the left field line and out of play, and it's now 1-2. On deck is Adam Duvall.
You know who Votto loved facing? Javier Lopez.
Really?
No. He would jump. Remember, he'd do the jump swing in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Remember, he'd throw that slider out. He'd jump in the air and swing at the same time. It's like he's completely lost against Javier.
1-2 to Votto. 2-2. Javier Lopez is back in the studio watching, so you're going to try to say as many things as you can where he's going to agree with you.
That's right. I hope they show clips in the post-game show of him and Votto.
2-2 to Votto. Hamilton at third. Cozart is at first. And this is lifted into center field. And Hernandez is going to make the catch. And his throw is going to go to second. And Cozart gets into second. It's a sacrifice fly, and it's 1-0.
Look for that team to do that same exact thing throughout the night if they have a chance. They're going to try to get these guys in a scoring position, because if you look at the Votto, the Duvall, the Suarez, and the Scheblers, that's 24, 22, 16, 18 RBIs. All these guys know how to put the ball in play and score and hit for RBIs, and they're not afraid of it, and they want it. And Doogie showed it. This is the second year in a row he's shown. He doesn't show a high batting average, but he knows how to hit with guys in scoring position.
So here's Duvall hitting 262.
So those guys will tag up at first and try to get to second.
There's a called strike. The other thing too is, with the weather the way it is, the Reds are happy it's 1-0. maybe this game ends up being a 5-inning game. So they're going to have to scramble. Popped up. Belt is coming in, but it's going to be Nunez who's going to make the catch. Nunez looked at Belt, and Belt looked at Nunez, but the out is made.
Belt made a communication to him at least. He told him, I don't know where this ball is at. You'll see right here, he's looking up. He's like, I can't see it. Yep. We didn't see it there, but they had looked right at each other right before that, and Belt's like, I don't see it. And so Nunez had to get back there, and he did a good job covering from that. That's what you don't need in this ballpark either, is letting those balls drop. You can't afford that here.
Absolutely. Here's Eugenio Suarez. He's off to a good start. 312, 6 home runs, 16 driven in. At second base is Cozart. And a breaking ball for a strike.
Here's that pop up again, Kite. See that ball goes up. Belt goes back on it, and he looks at Nunez and says, I can't get to it. You see him kind of like throwing his hands at him right there. Great job on the communication by those guys.
Otherwise, it's a mini disaster. Little jam shot, and it's going to fall. So it's 2-0.
Really isn't an inning where you would think it'd be 2-0. Nothing's really been hit hard. Just a bunch of bloops and jams over center field. It seems like they have this approach on. They're letting the ball get deep. Just muscling it out there.
Well, the other thing too is the tag up by Cozart ends up paying dividends. He went from first to second. So here's Scott Schebler. Schebler at 224, 8 home runs, 18 driven in, and there's a dribbler foul. He's going to walk off the mound thinking, you know what, I got pretty good stuff.
Yeah, everything's been, I mean, Hamilton, and right out the ball game, I mean, if he could have rung him up just as easy as he walked him right there, and that, it kind of cost Ken a little bit right here. It's a 2-hour rain delay, and you get a tight zone. It's not really that fair sometimes.
So swing and a miss at 90 from Kane, and it's 0-2. Well, put a little emphasis now on your offense to get something going against Bronson Arroyo. Suarez has the steal. And this is high and foul and out of play. When you have a lot of open seating, all of a sudden foul balls into the seats can be moderately entertaining. Only team in the, so they got 3 guys with 8 home runs or more. In the dirt, it squirts away from Buster Posey. It's 1-2.
A couple of reasons for that. Ballpark here is very small, but they don't just play here. They play around the league like everybody else. But they've got guys that can drive in runs, and they can get free runs. Not just like they're not having to steal them; they're having to hit them over the ballpark, where they get to just trot around the bases. You got to be careful of that. Tonight it didn't look like it so far, but obviously with the small ball being played.
So it's 1-2 to Schebler. On the ground and a base hit. So hustling over to third is Suarez. And the hitter is going to be Peraza. So Schebler hit that ball pretty good. It also found a hole.
Beat the shift. It kind of looks like they shifted on him a little bit right there. Just pretty hit it where everybody wasn't. Ball's not really that bad. He kind of went with the pitch and he froze everybody. There's nothing Nunez could have done about that.
Well, to further, here's Kane to Peraza, and there's a bouncing ball up the middle, and that's a base hit. It's 3-0. Kane gets the ball back. Dave Righetti's going to come out. Well, you put the ball in play, and things can happen, and that's exactly what the Reds have done here in the first.
There's really nothing Matt can do about any of that stuff. He's getting ground balls like he's supposed to be in weak contact, and seem to be going where everybody isn't right now.
So the hitter is Mesoraco. Well, as long as Kane has been around, he has seen this before.
Yeah, you've seen it before where you go and all of a sudden you end up with 7 innings, 3 runs. If you just stick to the game plan and you keep focused and you don't try to do too much, keep your team in it, and let them chip away, it's getting far from over.
Mesoraco on the ground to Nunez, and this will end the inning. 4 singles and a walk, and it's 3-0 Reds.
Is brought to you by Amici's East Coast Pizzeria. When you want the best pizza in town, Amici's delivers.
Well, the Reds jump out in front 3-0 with 3 in the first. So now that provides a challenge for the Giants offense. The Heads grounds crew here in Cincinnati has been conferring with home plate umpire Dana DeMuth in between innings. He has walked out a couple of different times with his iPad or whatever device and really showing him that this is what's coming. This is what's going on, so be prepared. And it does look like there's some stuff coming. Morris takes inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
See that high stiff leg kick I was talking about. It's not really conventional from most starters, but it does keep Bronson back over the rubber, allowing him to be able to throw off speed whenever he wants. He just doesn't try to do too much with his delivery.
Hey, you guys were teammates. Did he do it back then?
Yeah, he always did, and I would always talk to him about that. He would say that. He just keeps me over the rubber, allows him to do a lot of stuff like that. 2-0, he's not afraid of being 2-0 because he just flips up a sloppy slider in there and guys get too aggressive. And
so he's a guy that if he falls behind 2-0, he's thinking maybe that's a good thing sometimes.
It almost seems like he wants to. Like, you know, I'm more comfortable 2-0 than 0-0, so.
Look out. Sharply fouled. So a new baseball for Bronson Arroyo. Morris hitting .214. And this has popped up. Votto giving chase over by the Reds dugout, and it's into the dugout. There's a little bit more foul territory in this park than at AT&T Park. But there isn't that many advantages to pitchers in this park.
There's 0 advantages for pitchers here. You got a little wind tunnel that comes right over our head right here, Kipe, that blows almost like a funnel right over right field.
Morris just got a piece, so that even helps it more.
Yeah, it just pushes these balls out, especially when it starts getting hot here. Oof. I mean, you just hit a ball in the air and it just keeps going. It just floats out of here.
So Morris in a battle with Arroyo. 3-0 Reds. And it's a full count with the Giants Arroyo on deck. This will be a bit of a learning experience for that kid right there, facing someone like Bronson Arroyo. And the payoff. High down the left field line and foul.
Gone. Foul? Foul or gone? Which one is it?
Foul. Morris thinking, I could have waited just a little longer on that, maybe.
That one's definitely foul. Yeah, so Morris not really, that was his angry face right there.
That's it. And this little pop-up, Votto's giving chase. Is it going to hang up? Votto gives it a good effort, and he comes up short.
Man, I'll give that a 10. If we had poster boards right here, that's definitely a 10 right there. Wow. I mean, look at the dirt. I wonder if our guys can catch the dirt. I mean, it looks like one of those traceable bodies right there. I mean, look. Oh, wow. Way to lead that ball right there. He led the dive even.
Little slip and slide action. It's 3-2.
Thinking by the head down the whole time. He's not really thinking he's catching that ball right there.
I think he got into the dive and thought, well, I'm this far into it. I guess I better make it look good. The 11th pitch is coming up to Michael Morse here in the second inning. Foul.
Well, you're running his pitch count up anyhow.
Absolutely.
Young buck there on deck. He's getting to see a lot of pitches. It's an idea what he's throwing at him.
The old man just told his little guy, here, don't throw it. Here's another payoff. Got him.
Again, there's a 3-2 slider. He's been throwing him a lot of junk the whole time, 3-2, mixing it up back and forth, but he throws that fastball in, and then he can throw that slider that starts in, and you see Morris almost bail out, and it catches the inside corner. You hear crafty lefties a lot, but this guy is as crafty as it gets when it comes to being a veteran.
He's a crafty righty, absolutely. Here's Christian Arroyo.
I think if you've seen him the last few days, you know he can hit a fastball, and these scouts are going to start talking, and they're going to see if he can hit off speed.
Drives this one into left center field. Duvall is looking up, and it is out of here.
Well, I'm thinking that they tried to sneak a fastball by him, and it didn't work out for him. I tried to tell him that. I tried to say that everybody knows he can hit a fastball. Wham!
Maybe the last one he sees in the series.
That wasn't even a hanger banger. That was a straight four-seam fastball up in the zone that he hit out about. Well, I'm going with 109 exit velocity.
I think you're a little high, but that's okay. Here's Nunez, who's hitting 257.
I'd like some confirmation.
Nunez takes a strike.
Here's the fastball that I said not to throw him, but I'm happy he did. Came right back to the barrel, and he opened up, and he pounded it. And that was awesome.
Nunez lines this one right at Kozo. So we'll watch where it end up. 2 or 3 rows back.
On a line. It's got to be close to 109.
Both graduated from, what is that, Hernando High School in Brooksfield, Florida. What that? Same high school.
I would probably say it's safe to say they're not probably brothers.
Probably not.
2005 or 95 and 2013. I don't think they're distant cousins on that one.
I don't think so either. That is Marquez Hernandez with a swing and a miss. Down low, 1-2. The kid. 106 exit velocity.
I was pretty close. I said 109.
Definitely thought you were high. I don't mean high. I thought your number was high.
Yeah, let's clarify that on television.
2 balls
please.
and 2 strikes.
I don't think I would have won on the Price is Right because I would have been over, but I'm okay with it.
High pop up. Votto. In foul territory. And that's going to end the inning. Christian Arroyo gets the Giants on the board. He hits his third of the year. It's bye-bye baby, and it's the Reds 3 and the Giants 1. The second inning. Here's our Jeep drive of the game, and this is for Javier Lopez and all the guys that made fun of yours truly.
And the pitch. And Bell hits a high drive foul down the right field line and out of play. Gone.
That is my all-time favorite call.
And it's a 3-run home run for Brandon Bell. How about that?
Wow.
All-time favorite call right there. Period.
May 15th, 2015, against the Reds. Home run off of Jason Marquis that clearly I thought was foul. But goal.
That needs to be put on a video game.
Oh, I'm sure.
Somewhere in the video game,
yeah.
that has to be said.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. It's 0-2 to Bronson Arroyo. Strike 3 call.
Check out the dynamic deals for the month of May, including games for the Dodgers, Nationals, and Reds. Dynamic deal prices starting as low as $9. That's right. Tickets as low as $9. Visit sfgiants.com/dynamic deal to purchase tickets for the upcoming Red Series and to see future dynamic deal games.
Here's Hamilton. Hamilton drew a walk. He eventually scored in the first inning. Just to finish the story on the blown home run call. So after the game, I go down, walk in the clubhouse. I don't think anything of it. I actually forgot that I sounded terrible on it. And Javi Lopez somehow had it in his phone already and put his phone in a little speaker, of which the speaker was attached to all the other speakers in the clubhouse. And he played it about 5 times. There's a foul down the left field line and out of play. And he used to do that all the time. You know, he used to mess with Dave Fleming too. With Dave's home run call in the 2010 World Series, where his voice cracked up a little bit.
He played on the bus rides. He played on the airplane. He put it on the airplane speaker. Fleming would just sit there looking straight ahead. He didn't want to look back.
He was a little bit red in the face.
Yeah. Well, now, you know, he gets to do some of this, so we'll see.
Absolutely. It'll all come back. And Kane does it again. He walks in. Here's our smart play. It's brought to you by your California Ford dealers. The 2012 NLDS Game 5. Matt Kane got the win in that one, as you see him strut down the right field line. He went 5 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. He threw 96 pitches. Every clinching game that year he started. So here's Cozart. Hamilton goes, and he's going to steal it easily.
You saw there was no chance. Busker just basically, he just threw from his knees. It was actually a pretty good throw from his knees, but a guy like Hamilton, when he gets a jump like that, you're going to have to do everything you can to pull out all the stops and, you know, get your times down. But I don't think he really had a chance right there. You'll see right here, he just threw right from his knees. Not a bad throw, but he's just too fast.
And it's now up to Joe Panik to help Matt Kane keep Hamilton from thinking about stealing third. Guys that steal a lot of bases will tell you that sometimes stealing third is easier than stealing second. Kane will spin around and chase him back.
I think these guys at second field, you can get a little bit more of a moving, walking lead, knowing the entire time that even if I don't get a steal, I'm going to try to mess up your delivery, and hopefully you pull one up in the zone. And
Cozart flipped a little single into center field in the first. And you know, it's not a bad idea if you're Joe Panik. Hold him on like a first baseman would, and then kind of trickle back to your spot. And there's only a few times where you want to give up a little bit of your positioning at second to do this, but I think this is one of them. because he definitely wants to go, and there he goes. And Buster's throw is not in time.
He's just good. I mean, he knew it the whole time. He just had an idea. And you know, Arroyo's got to be ready as well. He's got to know, I got to get to that bag because it's coming. I mean, everything was hit on the money. Arroyo was there in time. Ball was there, actually a little ahead of him. It just might have been a hair high where he couldn't get the tag down. But a guy like that, there's nothing you can do. I mean, he did 2 pickoffs in a row. He's probably guessing he's not going to do it again. He got a little bit of a walking lead right there, and he just took off the second he saw movement.
The count is 1-1 to Kozar. And it's wide. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's what it looks like. And I agree with you. I don't know if there's anything more than you can do other than play the second baseman right on the bag.
He just has that first step speed. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that have that. And you can't pitch out right there, Kite, because there's a right-handed hitter, so there's nothing, you can't even do that. If you jump out of the way, it's nothing, you can't. He took full advantage of that situation right there. It makes him very dangerous. That's why you cannot walk. Those free passes, what I was talking about earlier, got to try to stay away from them. Hopefully he can limit the damage here.
3-1 to Kozar. And the walk. Yeah, this one here would have made it.
It's right at the top of the zone. I mean, it's a hair high. I mean, I'll give it to you, but I'm telling you right now, you gotta. This is where, you know, this Demuth cat is, man. He makes you earn some of these calls, but a guy like Kane or a guy like Bronson, they shouldn't have to earn anything. And when I make a pitch, I expect to get that call right there, and I'm battling. You gotta.
So this puts Joey Votto in the same spot he was in the first. And he pops it foul down the left field line and out of play. Hamilton at third, Kozar at first, exactly where they were.
You don't see a lot of arguments from Kane either,
no.
Like that. So when he does that, man, he's trying to either wake the umpire up a little bit, tell him to kind of lock it in, or he's just that frustrated with the call.
And the 0-1 pitch is down low. Adam Duvall's on deck. Outfield straightaway. Pence a bit off the line and right. So Kane going after Votto. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Votto's a lot like Belt or vice versa, where they're just going to take a lot of close pitches.
Yeah, he doesn't swing too much out of the strike zone. He learned a lot from Adam Dunn when he was over here about being really choosy within the strike zone and not chasing too much off. He used to pick his brain because Adam was very good at knowing the strike zone. And he's gotten some flack here for it. He walks too much. He doesn't hit enough for power.
This is out of play down the left field line.
You go back and look at his numbers, though. You're hitting 29 homers a year. I'm pretty sure I don't really know why you're complaining to me because I walk too much.
Hamilton still at third, Kozar at first. Now the runner goes and it's high, and Buster bluffs a throw. If you throw it down to second, Hamilton might walk in. That's why you bluff. And you can have, you know, these trick plays where the shortstop comes in halfway between the mound and. But with the speed of Hamilton, it's just not worth it.
That won't work. And you got advantage. This is where you, as Price, as a manager, he sees advantage on that. I can get my guy to second here. You're not throwing.
Now, Kane does not have to throw Votto a strike. First base is open. already. 42 pitches for Matt Cain. See if he goes after Votto or not. And he walked.
Seeing where that ball was at, it might have been a little bit off, but
I think it was outside.
He's still getting that good movement with his fastball, but it's almost where he's starting it tonight. It seems like he's catching, he's starting it away and it's ending it way away rather than catching that corner. But like you said, he didn't have to throw a strike right here, and you have a double play scenario in play. And this guy can be dangerous, but he can also hit the ball on the ground.
Duvall popped out to Nunez in the first inning. And he hits a little pop-up that Arroyo's going to make the catch.
That was a big pop-up foul ball right there. It could have been pretty dangerous. Arroyo was pretty good coming up and being ready to fire right there. Good heads-up play by the young kid.
How about that? You get a pop-up 30 feet from third base, and you're worried about the guy tagging up and scoring. Here's Suarez, who singled.
You'll see him catch this ball right here, and it quickly turns around and gets ready to throw. I mean, it seems elementary that would happen. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? But young kids, sometimes the game speeds up on him, and he doesn't remember to do that, especially with speed on the base paths. So he's come up here the last few days as he's come up, and he shows a lot of maturity in the field.
Learning fast. Here's the pitch to Suarez, and it's outside, 1-0. Cain has a shot to get out of this mess. 3 walks and 3 steals in the inning. And it's 2-0. So now he's got to come in. And this guy, Eugenio Suarez, knows it. See where Buster sets up. Away. Bouncing ball up the middle and a base hit. 2 runs are going to score, and the walks now really hurt Matt Cain. It's 5-1.
It almost looked like Matty might have thought that there was going to be somebody there. It looked like the ball kind of just bounced and went by him. Did he go over his head?
Yeah, it did.
Here's the pitch right here. The ball just kind of hits it on the plate. Yeah, he just hit it to the left, and he had no shot at that ball right there. But it is where the walks are going to kill you. It's frustrating. He hasn't really given up anything hard at all tonight. Just a bunch of singles up the middle, and the walks have all scored.
4 walks to the first 3 hitters. So here's Scott Schebler. Schebler signaled right at the shortstop position in the first inning. And you see he's got some power. 5-1 here in the second inning. And a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. At second is Votto. Suarez is at first. He's now got 19 RBIs.
Yeah, the middle of that order, they can put up some RBIs.
Fastball in to even the count at a ball and a strike. Cain got the big out in this inning, and that was Adam Duvall, and just could not put away Suarez. Up the middle and a base hit. Here's the throw home. Buster's got it, and out at home is Votto, and that's going to end the inning. on a beautiful throw and a beautiful tag. And the Giants save a run here in the second. Here's the perfect throw and the perfect tag. 5-1 Reds. We'll be back.
Big O Tires. Tires, service, straight talk. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Here's Matt Cain with a big swing and a miss. It's 5-1 Cincinnati as we head to the top of the third inning. Matt Cain on the year is hitting 167 with Panic and then Belt. Facing Bronson Arroyo, who gave up a home run to Christian Arroyo in the second. And gets a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Hamilton very shallow in center, and Cain strikes out swinging. So 1 out, third strikeout for Arroyo. And here's Panic. Oh, well, that's how the inning started out for the Reds in the second when Arroyo struck out. So let's see if the Giants can get something going. Panic struck out looking in the first inning.
Bad breaks by these guys so far. I mean, you see the Reds are getting all these little flares dropping and balls bouncing through. And we've hit some balls pretty hard off of Arroyo today. They've been right at guys.
Down the left field line, giving chase is Duvall, and that's going to sail into the seats. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Arroyo with 42 pitches. And it's a bit wide. Belt to follow. A lot of time left in this game, assuming the weather cooperates. Panic hits a high fly ball into right center field, and Hamilton is there, and he'll make the catch. 2 outs.
Did we see a grounds crew with the iPad again?
No, I think we're good to go now. They did say that at some point things are going to blow out of here, and then it was going to be good for the rest of the night. Here's a forecast for some rain tomorrow. So here's Belt, who drew a walk in the first. And he takes wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Overshift on for Belt. And a shot on the ground, and it's going to be Cozart who makes the play, and that'll end the inning. Reds are coming up. It's 5-1 Cincinnati. Offering a special offer now. Each ticket purchased for the upcoming Reds Giants series will include $5 of splash value. Well, you ask, what is splash value? Well, it's stored on your ticket and is redeemable at concession and retail locations throughout the ballpark. Perfect. Splash value. Go to sfgiants.com, enter the code CINCO at checkout. Splash value. I get it. 5-1 Cincinnati. Their definition of splash value is different than ours.
Yeah.
This is, there you go.
Splash value you can get on the warning track here with the water pooling up.
Yes, you can. Fouled out of play is Jose Peraza. Knocked in a run with a base hit in the first.
With all the raincoats out here, I think they feel splash value here as well in the stands.
They came prepared tonight. Cain shows his unhappiness, and he doesn't do it very often. And Dana DeMuth is hearing it from the dugout.
And he should. That's a strike. That ball comes back on the plate, man. That's a talent to do that right there.
Two and two.
Buster sets up good right there and it comes right back. That's a generous square. Okay.
Now you're on the square.
Yeah, the square moved. It's a strike.
2-2 pitch. Here it is. And he pops it into center field, and it's going to be another hit.
Right now, it's just one of those nights, to be honest with you. I mean, it's.
So here's Mesoraco. John Miller is on assignment. Dave Fleming is here, and he'll join Jeremy for innings 4, 5, and 6 as I'll head over to the KNBR side. Mesoraco bounced out to Nunez in the first inning. I don't think I've ever witnessed Matt Cain getting ticked off a lot, but I think he's ticked off right now.
Yeah, he usually is kind of one of those kind of guys that just doesn't show much emotion, but I think he's just, yeah, you're right.
Just by the way he's throwing the ball, he's like, all right, I've had it with the way things are going right now.
He let that one fly a little bit. It looked like he reached back. Threw some reach back velocity up there.
Arroyo's on deck. Popped up. Gorkis Hernandez with lots of room. And here's Arroyo.
Sometimes you need a little fire, you know. You got to have that. Now, Matty, that's not him. That's not his personality necessarily. But you saw it even from Buster a little bit the other night in L.A. He fired up, you know, right there in the 8th inning, you know, getting a big hit and then, you know, just being a little frustrated that we didn't score. Thankfully, we won. But we needed a little bit of that energy. And Kane going out there competing, showing guys, hey, this still matters. We got a lot of game left. And, you know, he's not checking out. He's letting the umpire know he's not checking out. Sometimes you got to do that.
Arroyo maybe asked to bunt. At least you would think so. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. In at third is Christian Arroyo. Morris will be charging from first. As Bronson Arroyo shows bunt. And he bunts it. And it's foul. Buster wanted to pick that up and go to second, but he just couldn't get it in time.
Pretty good jump at first. Pretty good bunter. Bronson handles the bat well. He actually can hit all right, you know, for a pitcher. I'm going for a punch out right here. I don't know what Buster and Matty are going to do, but I'm not going to allow just a guy to drop a bunt down and get a guy in scoring position, especially the way they've been kind of flipping balls out there tonight and getting these guys in with 2 outs. Most of these runs have all scored with 2 outs.
Well, in this ballpark, a 5-1 lead is not very much.
It's like Colorado. You play 5-1, you got to play to the 9th inning, man. This game can change in a hurry.
Lay it out. Arroyo is really coming down from third. So Kane trying to work his way out of it. He's thrown 59 pitches. And it's low, so it's 1-2. Rained all day in Cincinnati today. It was raining when we landed yesterday on the flight from Los Angeles. It was raining when you got in.
Field looks in pretty good shape for all the rain.
In very good shape. Outside 2-2.
He's just not going to give in. Kane got a little smirk even from this last pitch right here, but that ball's off. I mean, it is off. Buster might be setting up a little too much off. They might have to have a talk between innings. Sometimes you need the catcher to come up to you in between innings and be like, hey, those balls are off.
Right.
Like, I'll try to give him another play.
Runner goes, and the pitch is spun on it and missed. But
I'd like to see if there's an interference play right there, Kite.
Yeah, I think Wotus is asking for the same thing.
I mean, Buster looks frustrated by that deal right there, but it looked like Bronson came over the plate and Buster had to, you'll see right here, he had to avoid him. He stabs at it, walks right in front of him, and then ducks. I mean, you gotta, Is that not an interference call?
Well, I think what happens, Jeremy, is contact has to be made.
Oh, man, that's where Buster needed to fall over and just pancake him right there.
I don't even know if that's reviewable. So here's Hamilton. Hamilton has walked twice and he's scored twice. And he lines this one into left center field, and he's got a base hit. So it's a 2-out hit and a 2-out RBI, which the Reds have got plenty of those tonight, and it's 6-1.
See if Bronson makes contact with Buster here. No, he got out of the way. I think Buster just felt like he needed to kind of throw over him, but if contact needs to be made, there was no contact made, so it's a clean play.
So Hamilton's going to take off again. He's already got 2 tonight. Cozart is 1 for 1. He scored twice.
Just another one of those. No ball has landed past any of our outfielders tonight.
Yeah, a lot of balls in front of him. You're exactly right. Quick pitch by Kane, and it's a called strike, and it's 0-1. It really can't be a quick pitch. If it is, it's a balk. But he did get after it pretty quick.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to balk in order to throw, where he's going to try to steal.
So Kane again at the belt.
I mean, he's almost a guy you're almost looking at. I might pick over 17 times to just wear your legs out. Make you stand on first base and tell me you're not going.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to take off. That was one where you'd want to do everything normal if you're Matt Kane. Actually, even be a little slow, because you just don't want to tip off that you're going to throw a pitch out. I mean, even his shoes look fast.
Yeah, the Adidas signs are like moving.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Oh.
And Kane throws it down the right field line.
I think he might have had him right there too, because he caught him in between steps right there. And he just threw wide at first base. See, he caught him. He caught him leaning. He would have had him. He had him if he didn't. I don't even know. Was that wide, or did that just go under Morse's glove right there?
I think it was a little wide.
But he did have him timed down pretty good, where he watched him until he kind of took that step, and ends up being the same result, seems like.
Giants are going to get some action in the bullpen. We just don't want to wear Kane out here. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Cozart. And Cozart, a little jam shot, and it's caught. And that's going to end the inning. Reds add a run. Dave Fleming will be in. I'll see you back here in the 7th at 6-1 Cincinnati.
Going to the 4th inning here on a wet, cool night in Cincinnati. Dave Fleming alongside Jeremy Affeldt now on the TV side of our broadcast. Not a real fun start to this game. I guess the silver lining is if you're going to fall behind in a park like this, you got a lot of innings still to go, a lot of time to make it up.
You do. It just seems like the Reds have been putting together a lot of bloop singles, base hits up the middle, and the walks have kind of killed Matt a little bit as of right now, and that's something we don't want to do here in this park.
Yeah, I mean, if you say, okay, they've got 8 hits, how many of them have been hit hard?
I don't think any of them.
Maybe none.
They had one single that kind of got by Nunez on that shift, but again, it's the shift. I don't even know if I don't really like the shift, but I mean, that kind of was like a shifted play right there where he couldn't even take a step. But other than that, there's not one ball that's gotten past the outfielders. We all just landed in front of them.
Well, the big hitters are coming up here for the Giants. So let's see against a pitcher, Bronson Arroyo, who is not quite the same as the last time we saw him. Doesn't mean it's easy to hit him, though, with all the mixing and matching.
Yeah, he's just not going to be one of those guys that throws a fastball in a 2-0 count. He's not going to lay it in there for you. He's going to throw 2-0, and once he gets a 2-0, you're going to look at a slider, a cutter, a drop down.
Big chopper to third. That's Suarez, who throws a little high, but Votto stays on the bag, 1 away.
And as the innings get going, and he's shown you a lot more of those 2-0 sliders, he gets you thinking about his slider, and then he sneaks fastballs by you. I mean, he is a crafty righty, and he knows it. He doesn't overpower you. He kind of throws that stiff leg up at you, and he kind of just flips it up there, and he just changes zones. He throws to quadrants, and he practices it in the bullpen, warming up. You know, when I was here playing for the Reds, I'd watch him. He'd practice all the quadrants of the strike zone and be ready to pitch like that.
He's a guy who's been around for a long time, and he has, over his career, he's had a lot of success.
He's the winningest pitcher or something, or one of the winningest pitchers. I think he's top 10 in the organization.
Here's a liner by Posey. Might have broken his bat, or at least off the end of the bat, but he'll take it. It's a 1-out single.
Hey, they seem to be doing real well breaking their bats tonight. We might as well try the same thing.
That's what the Reds have done over and over and over again against Kane. And you mentioned it also just a moment ago. You give up some bad luck hits, but the 4 walks too have been a huge problem. It
is, and it's a problem. It's always going to be a problem in this ballpark, because it'll be a problem with the cheap homer. Now all of a sudden it becomes to the solo. It's a 2-run homer, a 3-run homer, and they got guys that have speed. You walk them, they can move guys. They have contact guys. They don't strike out a whole lot.
Michael Morse took a fastball on the inside. Morse hit a towering foul home run his first time up, and ultimately took strike 3. Hit a 12-pitch at bat though against Arroyo. He's quickly behind at the count 0-2 here. That's why he's in the lineup though, with all that power, especially in this ballpark. You figure get into one.
Yeah, Kuiper made sure that one was foul this time. It wasn't foul and then gone. He made sure it was definitely foul before he said it.
Famous Brandon Belt foul gone.
Yeah.
Morse might have broken his bat there. Cozart to second, and the throw to first. Double play. So the Giants are breaking their bats into double plays. The Reds into 6 runs. That's an 8-pitch inning for Arroyo. 6-1 Cincinnati.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Giants Baseball Club, LLC.
The Giants Insider Podcast is back on NBCSportsBayArea.com, brought to you by Max Muscle. Log on each week as insider Alex Pavlovich talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. The Giants Insider Podcast with Alex Pavlovich on NBCSportsBayArea.com. Also available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify.
Now, have you ever been a guest on Alex's podcast?
I have. I don't know if they played it on Stitcher, Google, iTunes, Spotify, whatever other 8 things it's on.
So you didn't then go and listen to it after you were a guest?
No.
That would have been something. Votto against Kane to start the bottom of the 4th. 6-1 Reds.
That was a lot of stations he's on. The guy's famous.
Exposure for Alex, who does a great job covering the Giants.
I think he does a wonderful job. He's pretty professional about it. He understands the players. He understands what questions to ask, you know, when to ask them at the right time, and he's great.
Pretty professional.
Yeah, I mean,
you qualified it.
Yeah.
Not like he's a total pro.
Yeah.
Not pretty professional.
Yeah, not quite yet. You know, I'll give him a couple more years before I give him that, you know, but he's all right.
Every once in a while he walks in the clubhouse in his underwear, but
yeah.
Most part he's professional. 2-2 to Votto. Kane could use a quick inning. And I think the Giants would like Kane to give them, as rough as this game has gone for him, a little length tonight. That one's a little bit high to Votto. Full count 3-2.
Yeah, we were talking about at the break. You know, they got the bullpen going a little bit last inning, but this is kind of a game where you just came off an off day. You don't want to burn your pen right after an off day. And if Kane can give you 6, 5, 6, hey, you know, he did the best he could, and he gave you some depth and didn't have to burn a pen for 6, 7 innings.
So at the moment, it's still quiet down there. We'll see. But yeah, you get the off day where everybody gets to rest, recharge, you feel fresh, and then if the very next game you kind of go all the way back to where you were before, You get the rest day. Not ideal. 3-2 is ball 4. So that has been a major problem. Dana Dubuque's strike zone has not been big tonight, but
it hasn't been big, and he does make you earn the corners a little bit. He's been squeezing a little bit, but on the strike cam or whatever it is, the strike zone box, it does look off. You got to tip your hat there, but you can see Matt show a little bit of frustration right here. He can tell he's saying, I'm not staying on that back leg. When guys pound that back leg right there, he's reminding himself some way, stay back.
There's a strike to Adam Duvall, who's been the one guy who's kind of been left out of the offense tonight for the Reds, the former Giant. 0 for 2.
And Matt, he's been doing so well this year so far. You see he is yanking pitches a little bit. He's pulling them off. He's not as through the strike zone as he wants to be. See right there, you can see he yanks that ball over there, and it's not through it. And that comes from either rushing or not staying back, and that's what he's trying to remind himself by that back leg smack that he did.
The 5 walks have been a big factor. Votto's at first. Not a big lead for Joey Votto. Duvall hard on the ground past the reach of Arroyo. That's Duvall's first hit. 2 on, nobody out for the Reds. Well, Warriors playoff central. Warriors Jazz before and after game 3, which comes up tomorrow, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on NBC Sports Bay Area Plus. Get you ready for game 3. Papa St. Helena, Roz, and Monty Poole. Warriors made it look easy last night. In the playoffs, it's not easy, and they made it look easy against a good team. So the Warriors, I think, are feeling pretty good about things. As that series heads to Salt Lake City, Kane and Posey talking, and maybe partially just to kind of stall for some time, but Corey Guerin is up in the bullpen.
And again, another ground ball base hit, and it doesn't seem like he's been hit that hard, but that walk, now they got guys on first and second, where maybe if you don't walk a guy, you got 1 out with a ground ball, doesn't kill you. It just seems like, walks tend to haunt you more than if you give up a base hit instead. It's a weird deal, but Matt will tell you, it probably haunted him tonight.
He got the call on the curveball there on the outside to Suarez, who, he's sort of example number 1. 2 singles, both to knock in runs. An RBI hit in the first, a 2-run single in the second. And neither one hit very hard. But the Reds have had base runners all over the place all game. Threatening for more. Suarez hits that one hard to right. Pence is back, and it is over his head and off the bottom of the wall. Votto and Duvall are coming together, and the Reds are going to have 2 at second. And now Panic takes the relay, and he will tag out Suarez. The Giants get a gift.
Huge break right there. Pence looked like he went in on that ball a little bit and got a bad jump. I don't think he saw that ball real good off the bat as where it was going to be, and everybody got aggressive and assumed, and Duvall actually messed him up because Duvall got caught on between second and third, so the other guy ran. You'll see right here. Pence getting that ball in a hurry helped that out, but really there was nothing the Reds could do. Right here you see Duvall kind of go to second, and he looks up, and Votto hadn't left yet, and then falls right here. See how it kind of was a delayed break by Pence. I don't think he really knew how hard it was hit. Sometimes when you get balls hit right at you like that, Good job by Pence, though, getting back there, picking off the wall as fast as he could, and trying to save a run, and hopefully Guerin's going to come in and try to hopefully get a ground ball right here. That's what he's here for. He's here to get ground balls and get double plays.
Well, Matt Cain not pleased with the way this one went. That was the hardest hit ball, I think, of the night for the Reds, and that'll be the last pitch that he throws. So the Giants are going to make a double switch. We'll tell you about that when we come back. 6-1, and the Reds are threatening. Guerin comes in when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. in the bottom of the fourth. They've knocked Matt Cain out of the game, and Corey Guerin is in from the bullpen. So Guerin will take over with one out here in the fourth, his 11th appearance of the year. A 1.80 ERA. He's been tough to hit. The walks stand out big time, so he inherits a situation where he's got to throw strikes.
Yeah, it's an alarming. The 10 walks are a little bit alarming. The 150 batting average to me shows me, hey, we need you to throw strikes because they don't really like hitting you. They don't hit you well when you throw it over the plate, and we need double plays.
Well, the double switch, Giants move Posey to first, bring Hundley in to catch. The Giants issued an intentional walk before they took Matt Cain out. Of course, that was that automatic walk where they don't have to throw a pitch. So Schebler is at first. And that's strike one from Peraza. Good start for Guerin, trying to get a ground ball, see if the Giants can get out of this jam and stay within striking distance against the Reds. Votto at third, Duvall at second, Schebler at first. That one is smoked to left center field into the gap, and it is one hop up against the wall. And that looks like it's going to clear the bases. Votto, Duvall, Schebler, they all score, and speeding into third, Peraza with a bases clearing triple, and the Reds have blown the game wide open.
That's a single. That's that sinker that he tried to throw that same sinker he threw the pitch before, but when you throw a sinker up with his arm slot, it tends to kind of almost ride up to the barrel. It never gets back down, and it's almost like you put it right on a tee, and he hit it hard. I mean, he hit it how he should have hit it. It's just, you see right here, see how that ball almost rises up into his barrel? It was actually out of the strike zone, but because of his arm slot, guys feel like they can attack that ball, and they put backspin on it, and it could have just easily gotten out of here.
Here's Mesoraco. Infield comes in, but the damage has largely already been done. That was the hit and the moment the Giants were trying to stay out of.
Yeah, they definitely wanted a ground ball right there.
Mesoraco 0 for 2. He takes one way inside. 2-0. All of those runs will be charged to the record of Cain.
Interesting, you see Bochy, he understands where we're playing right now too, and he's got infield in with the 9-1 ball game. He understands that this thing can still change in a hurry. It's happened before. You play like Colorado almost, you know.
2-1 to Mesoraco, and look, this is no knock on Bronson Arroyo, he's had the Giants off balance tonight. Giants only have 2 hits, and they haven't hit the ball hard against him. But he's 40 years old. His ERA coming in is over 7. Ball 3 to Mesoraco. You got Arroyo, the pitcher, in the on-deck circle.
You know, if your kids are at home watching this game, there's something to be learned from this game to a point. You saw it a couple nights ago where you walked 9 guys in LA and got out of hand. We had some walks tonight. We're pitching behind in the count quite a bit. There's another walk tonight. And walking guys, you want to throw to the plate, and you have a veteran, Matt Cain. He knows that. Like, he's not going to tell you that's not true. He understands the situation right now, and he's frustrated with himself, I'm sure, for walking guys. But just in learning the game, when you walk guys and give free passes, you just allow a lot of different things to happen. Other guys move up in the batting order. Guys move around on the bases. Guys get confident. Hitters know, like, I don't have to swing here. I can actually zero in on certain parts of the strike zone. I mean, just the whole offense gets more confident the more you walk them.
And that has definitely been a story in these 2 ugly games on this road trip. Arroyo showing bunt against Guerin, and he bunts it foul. All the walks against the Dodgers, plus the hit batter in a spot with the bases loaded, and that was Guerin against Turner. First pitch he came into the game, immediately hit Turner to force in a run. Freebies just kill you. And tonight, 7 walks already. We're 1 out in the 4th inning. That hurts. 0-1. Arroyo not showing bunt, takes strike 2.
And not that I'm begging here, it might seem like it a little bit, but you know, I might be biased. I was a pitcher, but I mean, we're not getting much help tonight. I've seen umpires kind of, you know, call certain pitches strikes that were probably called balls tonight. He kind of was a little bit tight with these guys. He's not an easy umpire to throw to the corners to, I can tell you that.
He got the call that time against Arroyo, who has struck out all 3 times. Those are the only 3 strikeouts Giants pitchers have. 2 down, first and third, back to the top of the order. The guy who has really killed the Giants more than anybody, Billy Hamilton. And of all the things that have gone wrong tonight, you kind of go into a game against the Reds saying you have to make this guy earn his way on base. And Hamilton, first 2 times up, walked both times. Also has knocked in a run with a hit. Ball 1. For whatever reason, the Giants are having a hard time throwing strikes to Billy Hamilton.
And this is the guy you want to throw strikes
have
to. Like you make him get on by beating you. Don't give him free passes because it's a triple. It seems like right now with this guy getting on the base. With the 214 batting average, 220 batting, you gotta get a single.
He hits a comebacker. Guerin's got it. You can't take too much time. Hamilton is out, and that's it for the 4th. Christian Arroyo, who's already hit a home run tonight, is going to lead off when we come back. The Reds 9, Giants 1. Inning here on a wet, cold night in Cincinnati, and we get another Arroyo on Arroyo matchup. It is a big day for Hernando High School north of Tampa in Florida, Brooksville, Florida. Bronson Arroyo, class of 95, no relation. Christian Arroyo, class of 2013. So they did not exactly overlap, but 2 guys from the same high school facing each other in a big league game. And guess who got the best of that Hernando High matchup first time up?
Young
the kid.
buck. So that's Bronson with short hair. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, in his big league career, there haven't been many moments where he's had short hair. Maybe way back in his Pirates days. Now you can't. You go to the same high school, you can't hit the guy.
No. That's not okay.
That's against the rules. He almost hit him.
I'd like to see if Bronson had short hair at the Pirates. I think he had cornrows.
Yeah, maybe for part of it.
He went to Boston. And then it just got longer from there. Oh.
Arroyo was trying for home run number 2 tonight. His first one was really impressive. He smoked it. Only question was, did he have enough loft to get it over the wall? And yes, he did. He's got 3 home runs already. He lines that one toward left center. Duvall will make the catch.
That was almost a triple.
He hit that one almost as hard.
Duvall almost misplayed that ball. Yeah, tonight I'd say he's probably had some of the hardest contact of the night so far.
I would guess that Christian Arroyo has had the 2 hardest hit balls of the entire game on either side.
Yeah.
We could check on that. You have to go through everybody. Nunez takes a curve inside for a ball.
John Miller definitely knows the exit velocities.
Text John.
Yeah.
Who's somewhere in Manhattan right now, maybe at a show. That's a curve.
No.
For a strike.
He's in his hotel watching the game.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Nunez, he hit a ball hard his first time up, into an out. 1-2. Now Crawford's eligible to come back tomorrow. Sounds like it will not be tomorrow. The Giants want to make 100% sure that Crawford is fine, but it's soon. 2-2.
Yeah, dealing with that groin injury, being as wet as it's been here, with him being, you know, the kind of guy that they need him to be for the entire year. You don't want to risk him slipping out here, and then you don't want, you mess with that groin, that can become a 6-week deal in a hurry. You don't want that.
Nunez down the right field line, foul. Well, you got a left-hander on the mound. You got another cold night forecast with some wet weather. So there's a lot of factors that just kind of say maybe wait till Sunday, maybe wait till Monday, whatever it is. But Crawford's been working out, doing a lot of baseball stuff. And he says he's feeling just about back to normal.
Yeah, I always think about, with the groin, you've got to be able to, you can do workout, but I want the explosion of hitting, running, switching, his angles that he needs to take. There's a hard hit ball.
Yeah, Duvall can't get that one off the bottom of the wall. Nunez is just going to ease his way into second. It's a 1-out double. Gorkys Hernandez coming up with a chance to knock in a run, and that's a good segue to our Togo's big play. The Togo's way. It was Wednesday, the finale in LA in the 11th inning. Maybe his best at bat with the Giants. An RBI double off Grant Dayton to put the Giants ahead. And they would win that game and win the series against the Dodgers.
He's been showing some signs of life, too. I feel like his at-bats have been a little bit better than they were after that good game in Arizona at the beginning of the year. After that, he just didn't seem like he could really barrel anything up, and it seems like he's been doing a little better job of it lately.
He has been, because he was in a miserable slump. And give him credit for finding a way out of it. Now let's see if the Giants can at least start chipping away, maybe put some pressure on the Reds tonight.
There's a lot of baseball game left. I know it seems weird to say that when you're down 9-1, but I mean, you've got to cover 5 more innings, and the Reds have done this all in 4 innings. So you all of a sudden go ahead and have a big rally and put up 6 in 1 inning. Next thing you know, it's a ball game. I've seen weirder things, Flem.
Yeah. So have I. I watched you pitch for all those years.
Oh, teed you up. And whoop.
At least I was ready. 2-1. Well, I mean, look, in baseball, you can't go into the 4 corners. You can't take a knee.
Yeah.
You got to get all the outs. So let's see.
27 of them.
Hundley on deck. Hernandez to center field, and that one hit pretty well. Billy Hamilton, who covers so much ground out there, 2 down.
Speed saved Bronson right there, I think, because that angle, he took a pretty good angle, but I think a lot of center fielders that play as shallow as he does gets beat right there. Now, a lot of center fielders won't play that shallow, but he knows his speed. Seems like you can kind of almost see that they're starting to stir a little bit in the Reds bullpen. You know, as a bullpen guy, you watch that. I mean, the managers watch it as well. You saw the weak contact. Now this inning, whether it was a hit or an out, all the guys that have faced Bronson this inning have hit him pretty hard. So you got to pay attention to that. You'll see those guys stir a little bit here now.
Now Hundley, a breaking ball that doesn't really do a whole lot of curving for ball 1. First at bat of the game for Hundley. His at bats have started to get better after a bit of a slump. Chance to knock in a run. 2-0. You got Panic on deck. Reds did not have an off day yesterday, but their bullpen has really been good. The Reds last year had, and the last couple of years have just had a horrible bullpen. Hundley might have helped him out a little bit. That one's tough to lay off.
Yeah, that's just a late breaking curveball. He kind of threw it up there in your eyes, and you saw it so big, and then it just leaves the zone at last second.
Ball 3.
And that's him, though. He will throw that pitch. He doesn't matter if he's ahead or behind. He will throw it. He doesn't worry about counts. Nothing in Bronson Arroyo's repertoire do counts matter to him. He throws whatever he feels like throwing at any time. It's made him dangerous for a long time. It's allowed him to pitch for almost 14 years in the big leagues, with not overpowering stuff.
3-1, and he throws it in a 3-1 count, and it fooled Hundley.
Again, curveball right there. It's starting his eyes and drops off. And they know Hundley. Hundley has a problem with the curveball from time to time. That's a pitch where you saw him the other night swing at 3 of them, right? He doesn't pick that up. They know that. Bronson knows that. You're probably going to see another one. Nope.
Hundley smashes one to left center field. Even the speed of Hamilton can't get to that. Up against the wall. That will score Nunez. And maybe he should have thrown the curveball. Nick Hundley with an RBI double.
I mean, I would have thrown the curveball.
It is a little easier up here. But I think for Hundley, that was a gift.
He just swung and missed at 2 curveballs, base open through a, I don't know, that might have been a BP fastball. It's almost like he took a little off it and it ran, you know, and Hundley barreled it up. He's got power, but another hard hit ball.
It's kind of amazing. Hundley, with the way that he has used that power, Hundley's got 12 hits on the year. 9 of them are doubles. He leads the Giants in doubles.
Well, he had that stint there where Buster was out and he was catching every day. He was pretty lucky. He might have been their best overall hitter when it came to doubles and RBIs.
Now we'll see if Panic can add on to this rally here. It's 9-2 Reds. Hundley runs well enough for a catcher where even in this ballpark where the outfielders feel like they're playing so close, I think a base hit to the outfield scores a run. Tim Flannery used to say this was a stressful place to coach third because you just felt like those outfielders were right on top of you.
Yeah, and he was so particular on knowing guys, knowing arms, knowing angles, knowing when to send a guy based on how he caught it or how he's lined up or how everybody else is lined up. I mean, he paid a lot of attention to those things. You saw him, and before the game, he'd sit with guys in the dugout, and he'd be like, hey, remember this guy's got a good arm, this guy doesn't. Hey, this guy takes a pretty good angle, and he hits the cutoff man well. He did a lot of that stuff as a third base coach.
Nobody prepared more than Tim Flannery for that job. 2-2 to Panic. I think this place in Philadelphia is similar where the corner outfielders are, there's just not a lot of room to cover. So you play a little more shallow than in some places. Duvall's pretty deep, all things considered, with the left-hander at the plate. 2-2 to Panic. Joe strikes out. Foul tipped it into the mitt. That is the 4th strikeout for Arroyo. Giants get a run, but only one. It's 9-2 Reds. True stories. 9 managers in big league history, 1,800 wins and 3 World Series titles. Bruce Bochy is one of them. Look at the list of the others. All 8 of them are in the Hall of Fame. And I do believe that your good buddy Bruce Bochy someday will be in Cooperstown as well. That is great company. Connie Mack, John McGraw, Tony La Russa, and on and on.
Yeah, and he Joe Torre, no discredit to him. I love Joe Torre. I think he's great. He had 2,300 wins, but he had the Yankees all that time, you know, and Boch, he's had some really good teams. On paper, the best in the in the game. And 1,800 wins, man. My hat off to him. That's a tremendous accomplishment.
Zach Cozart for the Reds against Corey Guerin in the 5th. It is 9-2 Cincinnati. Well, look, the Padres have been to the playoffs 5 times in their franchise history. 4 of them with Bochy as the manager. 1 with Bochy as a player in 1984. He's been gone for 10 years. How many times have they been to the playoffs since he left? That would be 0. And in those same 10 years, the Giants have won 3 World Series.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a coincidence. You know, that just he is a good manager. He's very smart. He thinks. I learned so much from him and how he did stuff in the playoffs. I mean, he seems like he's like 3 steps ahead of every manager a lot of times. Now the players have to produce. He understands that. The players understand that. But he's very smart, very intelligent, reads the game very well.
Ball 3 inside.
And he doesn't have one of those lineups that you can just pin up on the board every single day. You know, you don't have like those Yankee lineups in the 90s really where it's just like there's not a whole lot of adjustment going on. These are the 9 guys that are going to hit for me. He's got to mix and match and lineups and matchups and all these different things. It's tough. He shows how brilliant he can be.
And then the playoffs, he really gets to show off his managerial skill.
Yeah, he looks young there. He'll probably hear that part later. He looks really young in that camera shot we just had of him.
Cozart Hernandez, one away. He's looking good. Look, his last couple of years of the health scares for the Giants manager. Everybody, everywhere we go, everybody asks, is he okay? We just want him to be okay. We love Bochy, and he's fine. He's feeling good. He works out every day.
He's chewing gum like a champ. I mean, look at that. He has not lost a step.
So one out for Votto, who has walked twice and hit a sac fly. Takes ball one from Guerin.
Notice Votto's done it pretty much his whole career, but he almost has that Barry Bonds choke up on the bat, type style of hitting.
He does. It's not just with 2 strikes, although I think he exaggerates it a little bit when he gets to 2 strikes. And he's been a great player for a long time. Already 25 runs batted in, 9 home runs. 2-1.
And he really won't chase much off the plate. I mean, you can get him from time to time, maybe in, balls starting at him, or maybe balls running at him late, but stuff away from him, I don't think you're going to fool him much out there with anything that you throw.
Hundley sets the target. Corey Guerin way outside. That was not going to tempt Joey Votto.
A lot of times with a sinker ball or with that arm slot right there, you see his hands are breaking a hair late. He's actually kind of wanting to go to home before his hands break, and I think his timing is a little bit off. I think he's still fighting, to find that timing. He showed right there his hands just break a hair late.
That's ball 4. Votto walks for the 3rd consecutive time. Not that we're really relishing counting, but that is the 8th walk issued by the Giants in this game. We're only in the 5th inning. Of the walks that have already been given, 5 of the 9 runs, the runners reach base because of the walk. Not a formula for success. There's Adam Duvall. Former Giant is 1 for 3. Did you see something in Adam Duvall when he was a young player coming up that you thought, well, he can be a successful big leaguer?
I saw good bat speed. I saw a guy when he attacked the ball, he could whip that bat through the zone pretty good. And a ballpark like AT&T can tend to mess with guys a little bit. When he got traded over here, you saw like he kind of got confidence in his power.
That's a fair ball. It hits, I think, that little stool sitting by the version of the ball dude. Belt plays it into second. But Duvall has kind of sneaky speed, easily into second with a double.
Last year, he led the entire Reds team in triples. When you got a guy like Hamilton playing center field, you don't expect Duvall to be leading the team in he had a triple last night even, and he pulls his hands in. See how he can pull his hand? He has some quick bat speed. That ball was fair by about a half a inch on the base, by the way. That ball was not that good. I don't even know if it was fair. I think Bochy's arguing it because usually has to go over the bag fair, and I don't think it went over the bag fair right there. That ball looked like it was foul before the bag.
It technically is the home plate umpire's call until it passes the bag.
See right here, this to me, this ball, I understand right here it's fair, right? Man, I'll tell you what, it might have been just that left corner, on the line that it might have got over. I would be willing to bet that Mr. DeMuth did not see that. I think he guessed. I don't even know if I think he was just dependent on the third base guy.
Yeah, and I think that was part of Bochy's argument was get some help. Let the home plate umpire help you out. And I think Dana DeMuth said that either I didn't see it, it's his call, or I thought it was fair as well. It is not a challengeable play. You cannot challenge fair or foul on the infield. You can challenge fair or foul on the outfield. Suarez takes low ball 1, so here we go again. The Reds threatening, leading 9-2, second and third, 1 out. after the double by the former Giant.
Getting back to Duvall, I think you see stuff like that where you get him into a ballpark where all of a sudden his power, he gains confidence, and all of a sudden all kinds of hits happen. You know, those balls down the line or the triples or the homers, you just gain confidence based on where you're playing. A place like AT&T Park tends to play so big that a power guy says, I think I have to overswing. Well, you don't have to, but he gets big holes in his swing. Where here, he can keep his swing short and compact and feel like if he hits the ball hard, it's out of the ballpark.
It's been a good fit. That's a chopper to third. Runners hold. Arroyo will throw out Suarez, who is out for the first time in the game, and that is a big second out. If the Giants have any ideas about coming from behind in this game, you figure they got to get out of this one, and they're one out away from doing it. Bronson Arroyo's defense early on, they're asking him to basically learn a new position. He came up as a shortstop. It's not been perfect, but there's been a lot of plus. I think overall the Giants have been pleased.
Yeah, he's played one game at short this year, has he?
Yeah.
And you see even now he could play short, but they're saying, no, we're going to put you at third because this is the position that we feel that you're going to have for a long time here.
Scott Schebler takes a curve for a strike. Maybe a changeup with a lot of movement to it. Yeah, Arroyo's going to be the third baseman for this team. He is not up here to sit. So once Crawford comes back, he may take a day off every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's a strike. It's 0-2.
I think you're going to want to get Arroyo playing as much as possible. No knock on Nunez. I'm definitely not. He's a great player, but if Crawford comes back healthy, to me, I mean, I'm not a front office guy. I'm not a manager. I'm not a coach. I would find it a hard move to send him back down.
Yeah, he's going to be playing. He's going to be here. He's not going back down. I'm not either, but I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. 0-2, hit him. So you're ahead 2 strikes, and that's another free base runner. Bases are loaded. Same sort of situation with Kane, where Guerin's thrown 31 pitches. He may be running out of gas or whatever, but it's the 5th inning. First game of this series, first of many days in a row the Giants are going to be playing, and they are looking for some outs from Guerin, at least one more. Jose Peraza with the bases full, way outside.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where, hey, we need you to, you're going to have to cover more than one out, man. You've got to get us into the 6th, if not through the 6th. And I think they're hoping, yeah, if he can bear down and get this out right here, you know, they might go to someone else in the pen. Being on the road, if, you know, they don't have to cover 9 innings necessarily unless they come back. And if they do, you need your guys that are going to be able to save games for you available.
To third, and it kicks off Christian Arroyo, and he does not have time to recover. A run has scored. Votto's in. And I couldn't tell if it took a particularly wicked hop or what, but it came up and it ate Arroyo up. 10-2 Reds.
That ball is hit pretty hard. You see that thing, and being as wet as it is, that ball's skipping and picking up speed. It kind of went off the heel of his glove, almost hit him in the chest. That was a pretty close play at second base. That was closer than I thought it was going to be. But they obviously thought he was safe, or they would have reviewed it.
I'm sure the Giants took a look, but they have not indicated they wanted the umpires to review officially. That's an error against Christian Arroyo. Bases still loaded for the 8th place hitter, Mesoraco. Inside. That one almost hit him. Mesoraco's 0 for 2 with a walk. Strike zone's gotten small.
I might be wrong on this, but I think almost every walk except for what, 2 of them have scored tonight?
Many of them have scored. I would have to take a moment to count, but
that happens. That's the problem with walks a lot of times. They always figure out a way to score, and it's usually with 2 outs.
6 of the 10 runs started off as walks. So Brian Morris starting to get loose. 36 pitches now for Guerin. Ball 3.
See, Guerin's doing almost the same thing as Matt's done a little bit tonight. He's just yanking his off speed to that side of the plate. You can, when guys don't feel real good, if they don't feel like their timing's real good, they try to force stuff in there and they yank it rather than trust it. And if you don't trust your pitches, it doesn't usually go over well for you.
Mesoraco to shallow right. Panic being called off by Pence, who will make the catch for out number 3. Reds get one more. They lead 10-2 with Belt, Pence, and Posey coming up.
You watch BP from the field and a lower box ticket to see the Giants-Reds game. Well, happy hour, Orange Friday on Friday, May 12th is for you. Go to visit sfgiants.com/happy hour for tickets.
That sounds pretty fun. Have a little party before the game. Watch batting practice from the field. Get a seat on a Friday night at AT&T. It might be chilly on a Friday. It's not going to be this cold. It is chilly tonight in Cincinnati. Brandon Belt against Bronson Arroyo, who's still in the game. The Reds are up big.
Yeah, but it's happy hour. It's never cold on happy hour.
Never.
You can warm yourself up with a nice root beer.
Lagunitas, good stuff. That's foul. It's 0-2.
I went to their brewery, Lagunitas. It was awesome. They put me up in the where they originally did it, kind of like their clubhouse up there. Really cool little spot. Tasted a few of their things.
Yeah, you find something you liked?
Yeah, there's a couple things I liked.
Okay. Blake Wood warming up in the Reds bullpen. Belt, who has walked and grounded out. You got the big hitters coming up here for the Giants, and a third look now at Bronson Arroyo. Curveball in. Belt's on base average for the year is up to .395.
He's kind of a Joey Votto of, you know, he's not going to swing outside the strike zone. I know some people are probably wanting to hit more homers, but you got to throw him strikes, and he doesn't want to swing at balls that are not strikes. But when he does get a chance to swing the bat, I think he overall does pretty good. I think a lot of times I almost think some guys when they walk too much, they almost forget to swing at a strike, you know, because they're just so used to seeing balls. But Belt's got a good eye up there. He
checked his swing and hit a foul, maybe off his foot.
And right now you need base runners. I mean, you could use a homer right here, but you also need a guy on base. And you got some guys coming up with some power that can put the ball out of the yard. The next thing you know, homer here, double there, walk here, another homer. At least it becomes interesting.
2-2. That one way up there, but in the park. Schebler for out number 1. Not this time for Belt. I think he would hit a lot of home runs if this were his home park.
I think there's several guys in this ball club that would hit a lot of home runs if this was his home ballpark. The guy on deck included.
Pence up, Posey on deck. 10-2 Reds in the 6th. Hunter is 0 for 2 against Bronson Arroyo. He's only given up 4 hits. So he's pitched well. On the ground to short, and it kicks off of Cozart. Hit hard enough to where it was not an easy play. See how they score that. But no matter how they score it, Pence is at first in front of Posey.
You don't see this team shifting a lot. You know, you don't see the Reds out there shifting a lot of guys, and it could be because of the pitcher. Bronson's not that normal, traditional pitcher. and he's going to get contact, but he's not going to. He throws so much just random stuff up there. It's hard to guarantee that that guy's going to hit into his normal shift. So you're seeing these guys play a lot more straight up than they usually do. I think on some of our guys, from what I see other teams do to us.
Yeah, I think that's true. They did score that as an error. Posey is not in agreement with Dana DeMuth that first pitch was a strike. Buster, who's got a hit in 2 at-bats. 1-1.
There's that previous pitch to Buster here that he did not like. Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't like it, but.
I don't know if he thought it was too far in or what. To right field, Schebler. Will he have room? He will, but he doesn't make the catch. And hopefully he's all right. That can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous, but I need to see that replay again. He might have caught, dropped, recaught about 7 times.
I couldn't see. I was blocked off.
Here it is right here. Catches it, drops it, catches it, drops it, catches it, slaps it against the wall. Now, when you slap it against the wall, I'm pretty sure it's over. I think that ball might hit the wall before it even hit the glove.
Yeah, you can't play the ricochet. Not in this sport. So no catch. Posey lives to see at least one more pitch. And he hits that one foul. Kind of tried to inside out that off-speed pitch.
I think for me, even asking if you can play the ricochet proves why I'm a bullpen guy.
Well, it didn't come up that much for you personally.
Yeah. I don't think I was cut out to be a position player because I have no idea if that's illegal or not.
Curve just misses. 2-2. Pence at first, 1 out. Connor Gillespie has a bat. The pitcher spot is due up next. Buster, liner, fair ball. Headed toward the corner. Now we get to watch Pence run. Of course, the Giants are down big, so you can't take any chances. Pence over to third. Buster into second with a double.
That ball right there, you could see he almost tried to throw that slider that kind of just hung up there, and Buster just tomahawked that thing. Man, he hit that ball hard.
The third double of the year for Posey. And Brian Price is coming out with Connor Gillespie announced as the pinch hitter. Looks like the Reds are going to make a double switch and get a new pitcher into this game. 6th inning, Giants threatening. Brian Price wants to make sure the Reds manager is taking his starter out of the game. And we'll see who he's going to bring in as part of that double switch. So it's 10-2 Reds. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Brought to you by Provident Credit Union. You can vote at NBCSportsBayArea.com/AST. The 11th year that we've been doing this great program, recognizing teachers that make a difference. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. So vote for your 2017 All-Star teacher. Giants have knocked the Reds starter out of the game. Bronson Arroyo is out with 2 on and 1 out here in the 6th inning. Blake Wood, the right-hander, takes over on the mound for Cincinnati. His 14th appearance of the year, a 4.63 ERA. Scooter Gennett into play second, part of the double switch. Wood takes over.
Yeah, you're going to see a fastball slider splitter from this guy. He's got a complicated delivery. He's got turns and tilts. He hides the ball real well, but he has a hard time replicating. When you have this kind of a complicated delivery, you become very inconsistent. Doesn't hold runners all that well. Just kind of lets it fly. He was a closer for the Pirates in 2015 in their AAA affiliate, so he's had some, back in the bullpen experience at AAA at least, but kind of a complicated guy to throw out there, and hopefully he leaves one over the middle for Gillespie here.
Connor pinch hitting. Definitely a different style than Bronson Arroyo. That last one was 97 miles an hour. Our fast pitch brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. So maybe the Fastest fastball from Arroyo was 87. This guy's first fastball was 97.
Yeah, he reaches back and just lets it fly. See, he tilts right here. And
Gillespie on the ground, right to short. Pence will score. Posey went ahead and went to third in a different spot. Okay, good play. You get a run, and you're down 10, now 10-3. The Reds very happily take the out for the run.
be interested to see if this guy starts him out with a slider or if he goes to fastball. Arroyo's showing a lot of, he can hit a fastball. I mean, that's going to get around the league. I thought it got around. You saw the Dodgers kind of change it up on him a little bit, and if anything, they kind of went up on him. Be interesting to see with the velocity guy on the mound here how they pitch him.
Runner at third, 2 down. Arroyo's hit the ball hard twice. That fastball is high. One thing for Christian, look, we know he's an aggressive hitter. He's never going to be taking a ton of walks, but he's only walked once, and teams are taking advantage of that aggression, getting him to chase. Chance to knock in a run. Strike one. 91 miles an hour with whatever that is, a hard slider.
That's that hard slider. Yeah, his splitter is 85 to 88, so it's definitely a slider. But one thing I like about this kid is he's not in between swings. When he wants to swing, he's letting that bat head fly, man. He's getting it out there.
1-1 against the new pitcher Wood. That one is hit hard and scooped at third by Suarez, who spins and throws out Arroyo for out number 3. Giants get one, but only one. 10-3 Reds.
By the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. By AAA. Get a free Giants welcome mat. Restrictions apply. Go to AAA.com/Giants or to a AAA branch for details. By Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By State Farm. Combine auto and renters and see how much you can save. Talk to an agent today. By Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
On a cool, wet night in Cincinnati, Dave Fleming, Jeremy Affeldt here from the Great American Ballpark. Reds lead 10-3. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up. And Smog experts, Brian Morris will make his second appearance with the Giants.
Just coming off the DL, you know, he have probably his best appearance there in LA, but you know, sometimes they come off the DL, they're still feeling for it. It doesn't matter what they feel in rehab, you're still feeling for it, getting your feet wet. He's got good stuff. He's a good movement. He's got a good fastball. Obviously, you know most of it from what he did with the Marlins, but he was a pretty good pitcher with the Pirates too, and he knows what he's doing, and I think he can be effective for this ball club as soon as he gets settled in.
First at bat of the game for Scooter Gennett. He came on the double switch. Well, the Giants really liked what they saw from Brian Morris in spring training, and then he got hurt. It was like a workout injury. He was doing some drills, or maybe throwing a live batting practice, got hit on the foot.
Yeah, so I was actually watching his live batting practice when it happened, and he didn't want the L screen in front of him. And I always said, hey, it's live BP. Just put the L screen in front of you. Who cares? But that's what the risk is if you don't put an L screen in front of you. That can happen.
It cost him big time. So now he's back and healthy and trying to help a Giants bullpen that has been beat up a little bit this year. And not really with injuries, although I think they definitely miss Will Smith.
Yeah, but they do. I think Okert's filled in pretty good, right? You know. By the way, that was a great scud he just threw last pitch.
That was kind of a classic throwback.
Kind of like this guy.
Yeah, Okert had his best series of his Giants career in LA. 2 tremendous outings.
Yeah, I like him. He's really calm out there, and I feel like when he gets the ball, good things are going to happen.
3-1 to Gennett. There's a strike. Well, they need, and Josh Osich is here now also to be a second lefty, but now that Ty Block is a starter. He faced teams, the Reds qualify with Votto, but especially like the Dodgers, who have so many left-handed hitters. That's ball 4. Another walk issued by the Giants. Man, that's 9 walks given up in this game, plus a hit batter. Go to New York, and you got left-handed hitters who are good. Jay Bruce, Curtis Granderson, Michael Conforto, others.
Yeah, you're going to want to have some lefties, and then they're going to have to turn around and face some of these guys when you get back, right? The Reds are coming right back.
Dodgers will be back in. Dodgers are the ultimate team where you have to have left-handers. Billy Hamilton, he's sort of tortured the Giants tonight, and he's perhaps done it again. Yeah, Gorky's made an effort. It gets by him. It gets by Belt. Goes all the way to the wall. And Billy Hamilton may come around and score. They're going to stop him at third. Nunez relayed it back in. A run is home. Another walk has come across. And Billy Hamilton has himself a triple.
Yeah, he's fast. You see that ball was out over the plate. He just kind of went with it. It kind of looked like it beat him a little bit, but it was just this route. See, the ball tails away from the outfielder, and it's not tailing to you. And the ball tails away, making a dive like that, is a risk. If you don't keep the ball in front of you with this guy running around the bags, you get what you got right there, and that's a stand-up triple. Almost thinking he wanted to go for it.
Different spot, different score. Maybe he would. There's Cozart. Infield is back.
Yeah, you might have got a head tilt from a few of the pitchers if you would have tried to go home right there.
I don't think it's the right time to do that. But and it's probably why Hernandez may. I don't think Gorky's tries to make a diving catch if it's a one-run game or a closer game. Maybe you figure, hey, it's 10-3 already. Why not? And he's hero play.
And he's trying to help you out, man.
Yep.
And these guys feel it. You know, like the position players don't like watching their pitching staff struggle like this. They're trying to help you out. That's what they're out there for. And he's just tried his best to hopefully save a run, and it didn't work out.
Cozart takes a ball. Well, there is a certain situation where it's a big mistake to take a gamble and not come away with an out. But I have to think that in almost every other spot, if you're a pitcher, a guy makes an effort and doesn't make the play, it's hard to blame him.
Yeah, you tip your hat. See, this ball's tailing the other way.
No chance for a dive. That'll be another extra base hit and another run. Cozart knocks in Hamilton. 12-3. Morris is clearly still trying to get comfortable.
Yeah, he's just leaving. He's got good movement. He's got good late movement. It just seems like these balls are coming back to the middle of the plate, and he's catching too much white. And it doesn't really matter how much movement you have. If it doesn't go down, if you can catch, to me, you can catch too much plate if the ball goes down. But if it's going across to it, see how that ball's coming right to his barrel? It's not bottoming out at the bottom of the zone. It's actually running right, you know, starting outer half and running right to inner half, and that is a dangerous area to throw. That's nitro zone for almost every hitter in the big leagues.
Runner at second, still nobody out for Votto. Ball 1. I mean, this is 14 hits, 9 walks, and a hit batter. That's 24 base runners in 5+ innings.
Yeah, and they've left 10 of them on base even.
I mean, yeah, they've scored 12 and they've left 10. I cannot remember. I mean, we've had some ugly games over the years at Coors or whatever. That one is on the ground. Pretty good play by Posey on a kind of a weird hop. That's the first out here in the 6th.
Yeah, these kind of games for a pitching staff, you're really truly grinding it out. You feel like when you come in as a pitcher, you're coming into an offense that feels really confident for whatever reason. It's not a good day, and none of these guys are trying to do this. Everybody's frustrated. It's almost like a nightmare that you just want to end, you know. But you got to go, like you said, you got to go through 9 innings. It's a 27-out game, and you got to keep going after it. You got to grind it out. You got to play almost games with yourself, like, okay, what can I do to throw up a 0 here? How many pitches can I do it in? And try to focus on that rather than the score.
Adam Duvall, who went 0 for 2 to start the game, since then has a single and a double and has scored a run. So he's 2 for 4. You just kind of hope to get through these games and start fresh the next day.
That is the good thing about this game, is the sun comes up and there's another game tomorrow, and there's another way to maybe go ahead and do the same thing that they just did to you and get your confidence back and roll, and hopefully by the end of the year you're in the playoffs and this game didn't even matter.
Brian Morris. Did he swing? Yes, he did. Says Paul Nauert. Adam Duvall wants to go walk over there and discuss that one. I think Adam's thinking that's a I want to go home call.
Yeah, but you know what? You finish your swing like that. A lot of umpires would say you swung. Like you go down to your knee stopping your swing. I'm saying you had an intent to swing at that ball.
Skies that one to right center. Pence, Hernandez, who's going to take it. Gorkis, and they will not tag. 2 down. For Suarez. He's taking the slow walk back to the dugout.
I always thought it was funny that hitters do that. It's like they blame the umpire that they just got out, that he hit a towering fly ball because he called a strike on the pitch before. You know, the umpire's like, I didn't tell you to swing at that ball right there. I just thought you swung at the one before that. I got nothing to do while you popped it up.
Adam would argue, but
yeah, probably. I take a different swing if I want to know.
2 down for Suarez. Big part of this game for the Reds. 3 for 4. He's having a good year. He's hitting .330. He's got 19 runs batted in.
Yeah, the middle part of this order is and the Giants knew that. We're just talking to Bochy earlier before he came up here. You know, he said we have to pitch against these guys. These guys can hit.
He was very worried about this series. Not that his team wasn't going to take the Reds seriously. When you're 11-18, you're taking everybody seriously, but the Reds are a quiet, good offensive team so far.
Yeah, they just have starting pitching chaos. I mean, when you have a starting pitching chaos, it's tough to win. If you have, it doesn't matter what your offense does. If you don't have pitching that's consistent and you know it's going to be out there every 5 days, it gets pretty tough for teams to win.
Even with that, the starting rotation that you're right has been in flux. They're 14-14. They've won games against some good teams.
But you know you have Chicago in your division. You have St. Louis in your division. You have teams that are.
Won't be easy for the Reds, but for now they're playing pretty well. Morris gets the strikeout. Kipe's going to come back and join Jeremy here on the TV side. It is 12-3 Reds.
Graduating, you can congratulate your graduate with the gift of Giants baseball. Tickets to 2 games and a class of 2017 Giants cap and tassel. It's the perfect gift. Packages starting at just $39. Visit sfgiants.com/grad for more info.
Well, it's been a lot of fun here tonight at the ballpark, and then the game started.
It never really started off well in the first place. Jam, bloop, walk, bloop, jam.
And then the weather. So here's Nunez. Nunez facing Wood. And you talk about a contrast in style. Wood and Arroyo. One at 86, one at 96.
And Wood is telling you he's throwing 96 from about right now in his delivery. He reaches back. And that has been the scouting report on him. He cannot repeat that delivery, and that makes his pitches basically unrepeatable, which means there's no idea where it's going. You see his release point's off. I think that was actually a slider that he just threw. When you throw a slider, when you open up, throw a slider, try to throw a slider that hard with that kind of delivery, you're going to probably throw a lot of those balls right there that back up and almost hit guys in the head.
Well, nothing ticks off a team more than getting waxed on the field and then getting knocked down.
And a guy like a guy like DeMuth, he's not going to give that to you. He's not giving much of anything, so he's not going to give you that.
And the walk. So Nunez saying, you know what, I'm kind of happy to get out of here. So here's Gorkis Hernandez. Gorkis tonight is 0 for 2. It's a 10, or make that a 12-3 lead for the Reds. And there's a called strike. Arroyo started, and now it's Wood.
You'll see in that delivery, the reason why it makes it so hard to repeat is when you drop and you have all that movement with your upper half, it's really hard to get that arm back over the top and release at the same time. And so when you got a lot of tilting and ducking and chucking, you get hitters wanting to do the same thing.
So Gorkis goes right back up the middle. And now Hundley's going to hit. Mesoraco's going to go out and have a word. Hundley had a nice at bat in the 5th inning. He doubled into the gap to knock in a run. They announce over 22,000 here tonight.
Maybe 2,200, but I mean, maybe the season ticket holders, I guess. But there's 22,000 open seats. I can guarantee you that. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Here's Hundley. Hundley takes a call strike. And, you know, there is a concert afterward. There's fireworks.
Concert's going to be electric. A lot of noises here.
There'll be a lot of noises here. It's no balls and 1 strike. And Hundley takes a strike. It's 0-2. So Hundley's going, what happened to the guy that couldn't throw strikes? He's throwing them to me. Joe Panic is on deck. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Hernandez and Nunez with their leads, and there's a healthy rip and a foul straight back on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So Nunez with his lead at second, Hernandez at first.
It's almost kind of as a hitter, you almost want to be like, I'm gonna, win or lose, I'm gonna try to get something right here. Like I'm
tapped on the ground, foul.
One thing I do appreciate what I've been seeing from the Giants hitters tonight is they really, I don't think I've really seen a lot of at bats that they've just given up. They haven't given away a lot of at bats. They have been doing their best to attack. They've been staying aggressive. And that's a positive sign in a game like this when you can still see your offense go up there and give their best at bats. And it hasn't been working out, but they're still being aggressive up there.
Here's another 0-2 pitch to Hundley, and it's not close. 1-2. I think sometimes you can just automatically carry it over into tomorrow.
I'd be okay with that.
This will be the 18th pitch thrown by Blake Wood, who got 2 outs in the 6th inning. And Hundley's gone, so that's out number 1. And here's Joe Panik. Joe tonight is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. His at-bats over the last, well, basically his at-bats since the beginning of the season have all been pretty good. He's had a good swing going. And he is headed home. Or he'll be headed home after the ball game on Sunday as the Giants head to New York City.
Yeah, his ticket request might be full.
Look, he's got his family and he's got the in-laws as well. No balls and 1 strike. Belt is on deck. We're in the 7th inning. Is Blake Wood is going after Joe Panik with 1 out. Double play ball. It'll go 6. It'll go 4, and it'll go 3. And that'll end the inning. Bottom of the 7th coming up. It's 12-3 Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, well, I'm just not even going to give you the score. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up in smog experts. There we have Josh Osich. And you see his numbers, and he's facing Scott Schebler, and there's a pitch in the dirt and a half swing, and it's 0-1. So the Giants have issued, what did I say, 9 walks?
I think we're at 9 now. We might be in 10, but I think we're at 9.
And here's a young man that once he figures out the ability to throw strikes all the time, he's going to be really good. And that's Josh Osich.
And the Giants like this kid. You know, his numbers in AAA weren't obviously that stellar, but sometimes that doesn't always correlate to up here. But they like his velocity. They like, you know, they're looking for him to return to that changeup form that he had a couple years ago in 2015, where he was just throwing Mickey Mouse changeups with that velocity. But you know what? They want him up here. They want him facing big league hitters, and they think he can add value to the club long term.
Lefty that throws hard. Hit on the ground, and Joe Panik to his right, and he throws out Schebler, 1 out.
And he throws an occasional scud, which I'm kind of all for, you know.
So leadoff hitters on for the Reds, and as you see, Stubbs is now in center field.
Former Red,
played a lot of years here. See, Gorkis is now in right field. And here's Turner, who lifts the first pitch out to Gorkis Hernandez. So far, I've got my pick on the wrap for player of the game. And you know what? It'll be 3 guys fighting over 1 guy.
yeah, well.
So here's Mesoraco. So Mesoraco takes a pitch high. He's talking about the Reds getting their leadoff hitter on to lead off an inning. They did it in the 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 6th. And those were all, well, they've scored in every inning.
I think I just saw a curveball from Osich, which I didn't know he was throwing a curveball now, but we have a bird in here. It almost hit you right in the dome. Okay, sorry I'm interrupting, but it's literally on our TV right here behind us. Watch out.
Come on.
I'm telling you, that's not a pet bird. It's a scared bird.
There's a pitch high to Osich, or Osich throwing it to Mesoraco.
But if he's throwing a curveball now, I think that's going to help him, because he's got a change in, like, not just velocity, it's a change in, like, ball path, and when it can come out and go down, he was throwing a lot of cutters last year. He got a little bit happy with his sinker, maybe more than what the Giants coaches wanted him to have. They want him to challenge hitters, but if you can come with a curveball and change up velocities, you know, when you throw 95, you can throw a 77-mile-an-hour curveball for a strike. That's actually going to help you. It's just hard to do with his arm slot, but if he can do it.
Well, how long did it take you to figure out that pitch?
I actually had to drop arm slot to be able to command my curve. I always had a good curveball, but it was so top to bottom. Yeah, see, there's the bird. I'm telling you. Hey, hey, hey.
Could bite you on the hand. There's a line drive foul down the left field line.
Kind of a little creeped out right now by this deal.
The Birds looking at the Hall of Famer, Marty Brenneman. He's thinking, how the heck did that guy make it into the Hall of Fame? Well, he made it because he's really good. Marty's looking back at it like, were you looking at me? 3-2. And the walk, so Osage try as hard as he may to get through. There's the Bird checking out the Hall of Famer. Actually, it's the Hall of Famer checking out the Bird.
I'm not really feeling real comfortable right now. He's staring, and he's kind of pointed right in my direction. If he takes off, I'm taking it in the ear hole.
I'm telling you, he doesn't feel that well. That's my call.
Probably ate too many peanuts.
Here's Scooter Jeanette, who takes a strike. Jeanette opened up the 6th inning in his first at bat, and he drew a walk. So Osage gets a ground ball and a pop up, and then he walks Mesoraco. And is that the breaking ball you're talking about?
That's that breaking ball. That's a good pitch.
I mean, a good pitch to throw, or a good pitch should have been called a strike?
Well, it's a good pitch to throw. I'm going to tell you if it's a good pitch or not. It's a good pitch. It's still a good pitch.
Kind of.
DeMuth isn't that good. He guessed.
Swing. You're going to miss 1 and 2.
But he, you know, but that curveball, even if you miss like that, then coming back in there with that fastball velocity causes those kind of swings, because now that fastball, you almost throw in that same area, and he just saw a pitch. Whether he took it or not, it's fine, but he saw that area, and it looked good. It's like chocolate mousse, you know. It's that looks so good but so bad for you. And Osage can throw some chocolate mousse at you.
Yes, he can. He's not a guy you'd want to arm wrestle. Somehow chose this booth.
Well, Marty, you can't choose Marty's booth. His windows are closed.
Curveball, and you got him. So Osage keeps the Reds from scoring here in the 7th. Checking out the Hall of Famer. Your local Toyota dealer. It was the start of a game that was not very good for the Giants. Matt Cain got dinged up a little bit. He actually threw the ball pretty well, but walks and singles really hurt him. And then later on, the Reds started to get extra base hits, but Bronson Arroyo hits a home run, and it's 12-3 when it's time for a change. Thanks Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Austin Bryce in to Belt, 1 ball and no strikes. He throw hard like they all do.
Another high velocity guy, 95-97, reaches back, lets it fly. Slider, curveball, grunt and throw guy, they call him. Usually when you grunt, you throw hard.
Well, those guys that are born in Hong Kong, they can bring it.
Yeah.
Did I
Threw
read
me,
that right?
threw me for a loop right there, but I'm taking your word for it. I'm not even going to try.
Saw it on the graphic. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Belt, and Belt's going to have to get it going. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Big, strong lower half guy, though. You can tell Quadzilla out there. He's going to throw hard. Usually the guys with big quads throw hard. Control issues like the other guy, though.
Yep. There's a swing and a miss. 2-2. Is that where Lopez got his velocity from, his quads?
Yeah, that guy, he could squat. I mean, he
2-2.
He did. I mean, he did all his extra squats. He went out there and he lit up the radar gun.
In tight to belt, it's 3-2. Well, the thing that I loved about Javi is he never claimed that he ever threw hard.
No, he's pretty athletic out there. There's only one moment that he wasn't, when he did a face plant, but you know, you called him out for that. But you know, running out to warm up. But he's probably, I'd say, the most athletic pitcher I've played with, other than myself. But you know,
Belt on a check swing, he's gone. All right, off of Lopez and on to the Giants and the Reds tomorrow. Hour-long pregame live is going to start at 3. We'll have the game for you right at the top of the hour on NBC Sports Bay Area. And then if you want to check out Alex Pavlovich, go to NBCSportsBayArea.com, where he will write a note or two. Here's Stubbs.
pretty impressive that a guy that has this kind of velocity throws from that arm angle, though. Kind of a slinger. You know, he kind of just slings it up there, but it does come out of his hand pretty good. Funky arm slot. Tough on righties.
Well, I mean, look, Mike and I say it all the time. It's nothing anybody would disagree with, but it's hard to teach 97.
Yeah, it's natural. Like, you're just born with thunderbolts in your arm. I mean, there's just, you know.
But more guys are being born with it.
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, and obviously this guy squats a lot, so that helps.
It's high to Stubbs. It's 1-2. There's Hunter Strickland. He's going to get an inning of work in.
Speaking of squatting, he can do some squats.
Well, you're right. He does have an awkward motion. It's 2-2.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of times power guys too, they have like what their last guy had, where he kind of reaches back, tilts, or he kind of has a really, you know, aggressive stride. Everything looks pretty, he's almost stiff. He doesn't have a real long slide, but then he just kind of, he's all arm going up there, which can be potential in my opinion when you throw that kind of velocity and you're all arm like that. And he's a strong kid, but man, you can have arm injuries when you throw like that, throwing that hard especially.
Here's the payoff. He got him. So 2 hitters, 2 strikeouts, and here's a guy that will hit a fastball.
Yeah, he doesn't really care how hard you throw. I mean, so some of the most power, I mean, we're talking Chapman, 104, 105 miles an hour. He owns, what, he's at 7 for 10 off the guy or something. He likes facing that stuff.
It's amazing the number of closers that Buster hits well against. Kenley Jansen's another one. No balls and 1 strike. Buster tonight has bounced out. He's singled and he's doubled. There's a breaking ball that misses. I think the one thing also about Buster Posey is if he is guessing fastball, and a guy that has a good fastball is going to throw a lot of them. Buster's going to win his share of the battles. And a base hit.
Like you were saying.
So 3 hits tonight for Buster Posey. And that'll bring up Kelby Tomlinson.
I mean, he's just a professional player in general, but especially a hitter. I mean, this is a guy that down 12-3, he can go ahead and take it in or be done. He went to first base after he caught, but he still gives you great at-bats. And we were talking about last night, these guys are not, the offense tonight overall is not giving away at-bats. I really appreciate about them tonight. But, man, that's a guy, he gets hits, man. He just likes to hit.
Tomlinson takes high. On deck is Christian Arroyo. We're in the 8th inning. Long rain delay, and then a lot of hits. Tomlinson fouls this one to our right. One ball and one strike. And he pokes it to right, but standing there is Shedler, and that's going to end the inning. So we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. It remains 12-3 Reds.
At Bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
All Reds tonight. It's 12-3. And the Giants are going to send out Hunter Strickland, one of your bullpen mates.
Hunter, I saw him in the clubhouse today. He's a little Joe Dirtish to me now.
Really?
If you see him with his hat off, yeah, he has a little Joe Dirt feel.
Well, he's a new dad. I mean, you got to clean it up, don't you?
I don't know if he cleaned it up though. He's got, a mullet shaved in. He's got some lines shaved in. He's just Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt to me.
He looks mad. It seems like Hamilton has hit every inning as he stands in and he takes a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a strike to Hamilton. He's been on base 4 times. He's got 2 stolen bases. He's scored twice. He scored 3 times. He's knocked in 2. Tomlinson's in left. Belt is now at first. And a breaking ball to make it 1-2. Cozart, Votto, waiting in the wings, and a high fastball at 98, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Strickland replaces Osage. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, it's 3-2. So Strickland knows the deal. Although the one thing you got going for him, the Reds have such a big lead, Hamilton's not going to run.
No, but the game plan is to keep this guy off the base paths, and we want to try to do that. Right now, he's been on the base every time, like you said, except for 1 time tonight. And these guys have all been talking about it down the bullpen too. Quit walking, guy. Let's pound the zone. They've been talking. Come in sometimes it's just one of those nights where you find yourself 3-2 and you don't want to be.
And it's lined into right field, a base hit.
Great news, Giants fans. Stream the Giants on the go. This season you can stream every NBC Sports Bay Area Giants broadcast on your desktop or mobile device. Giants games streamed on the go on the NBC Sports app. Get it today.
So here's Cozart with Hamilton at first. Cozart, 2 hits tonight. Reds have 15. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Votto to follow. And Strickland to Cozart, and he pops this one back and out of play. I'm feeling really bad for the band tonight.
Yeah.
Because they may be playing in front of an empty stadium.
And if they were scheduled to play on Cinco de Mayo, they're not playing on Cinco de Mayo. Playing on the 6th of May.
0-2. Got him. So Payne has had it.
Well, I wish he'd had it in the first, second, third innings.
I was not putting it on a tee for you. I was not doing that. That was not intentional. As here's Votto. The game moves a lot better if there are more strikes called. And I'm not talking about laughable strikes.
Yeah. Swing the bat.
I'm just talking about strikes where hitters will go, yeah, okay, that was close enough. There's a pitch inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Duvall is on deck. So it's 2-0. Votto and Hundley, a little bit of a conversation going. Votto may be saying, hey, is he trying to hit me? Hundley's going, nope, I'm putting the target right down the middle of the plate. And it's high, so it's 3-0.
Votto doesn't like to get hit. One thing I know about that, he don't like that stuff. Sometimes Strick, when he steps across his body, he tends to yank that ball into lefties.
So that's ball 4. Hundley goes out and has a word. Here's Duvall. I mean, there isn't any pitcher that likes to come into a game like this. But you almost have to, in this case with Hunter Strickland, he needs some work.
Yeah, and these are tough because the adrenaline is not there.
There isn't anything there, you're right.
Especially if you're used to your role, you're used to coming in with adrenaline-packed scenarios, and there's no one here in the stadium, blowout game. You tend to go through the motions a little bit, and you got to really bear down and focus.
There's Duvall. Swing and a miss. Nasty pitch, and it's no balls and 1 strike. This game started at 8:30. It was scheduled to start at 6:40. So a nice tidy hour and 50-minute rain delay. Swing and a miss, nothing in 2. There's a little challenge. You like to see it. You like to see the hitter get after it. You like to see the pitcher throw it.
Good old power for power matchup here.
And you know what? You might see it again. Strickland rears back, and he did it again. And that's what you call being sent packing. And here's Suarez.
Yeah, that was a good morning, good afternoon, good night. That bat right there. See these pitches here, he just challenges them except for the first pitch. That first pitch curveball allowed him to go ahead 97, where Duvall would be, he just started me off with a curveball. Now he's 0-2, he's coming back with it, and it was by him before he could even
First pitch
catch up to
curveball
it.
is a pretty good pitch.
It's a free strike a lot of times. Most guys don't like swinging at those.
Suarez takes outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Strickland trying to get a nice inning under his belt and then move on forward for tomorrow. Here's the 1-0 to Suarez. And he hits it high and foul, and and out of play. Watching that ball, remember the day that Pablo hit one out of the stadium, a foul ball down the right field line. I mean, that's hard to do. But
yeah,
that's the one thing about Pablo is he could do some of the weirdest things.
Yeah, he had some power, man. He hit a ball on the screws, man. That ball was going to go a long way.
Strong fella. 1 ball and 1 strike. And I called it correctly too, by the way. It was foul.
That was
out of the
foul.
stadium. Yeah.
You did a good job on Morse today. You kind of really firmed up that fight. I think you timed it with the umpire pretty good.
That happens once, and then you say it's just not going to ever happen again, and then eventually it does.
Well, you've called ball games for like 60 years, so one time in 60 years is fine.
Not 60, but plenty.
Oh, plenty.
Oh. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. It's taken a lot for me not to say Eugenio Velez. Was with the Giants for a number of years. That's in tight 2-2. You're with Eugenio Velez, right?
Yes, I was, yep. Early. What, 09, 10 kind of?
I believe it was. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strickler trying to get the Giants off the field here in the 8th and get to the 9th. And it's 3-2. This has been one of those nights where that's where it's going to go. Arroyo, Nunez, and Hernandez will hit in the 9th inning. Many faithful have stayed. Runners go, and he walked out. So here's Schebler. Schebler had a couple of hits in his first 2 times up. Then he walked, was hit by a pitch. And the only out that he's made was off of Osich when he grounded out to Panic.
I think that was the only pitcher with a clean inning, wasn't it?
Yep.
I guess so. Well, he walked a guy, didn't
The Reds have had the bases loaded in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and now here in the 8th.
Yeah, when you look up on that scoreboard and you see 12 runs and 12 left on base, and that's not even including this inning, that's going to be a frustrating night.
This is hit into right field, a base hit. So the Reds will just move up 1 base at a time. Schebler with a single and an RBI.
This is where when you come in as a pitcher to get work and you're kind of find yourself in an interesting predicament because, yeah, this stuff happens, and it's like some people might say, well, if you're going to give up runs, this is the game to give up runs in. You don't ever want to give up runs, ever.
No.
But it just can get frustrating because you're like, man, I was just trying to knock some dust off real quick and come out here and compete, but not this happens.
He's unhappy with the walk to Suarez, but here's the pitcher, Bryce. Bryce takes a rip and he hits it foul.
Might have woke me up as a pitcher too. I wouldn't be expecting him on 97 to take a hack like that, but
at least Strickland knows. Be ready. So 16 hits, 12 walks, and a hit batter. Santos is getting loose, so that's a lot of base runners. And that'll end the inning. For the Giants, it'll be Arroyo to lead things off as we head to the ninth.
Post-game live, highlights, reactions, analysis, and much more in an hour-long Esurance Giants post-game live coming up after the game.
After the ball game, it's a 13-3 lead for the Reds. And one of the bright spots in this game was Christian Arroyo's first at bat. Ended up knocking one into the bleachers. He's 1 for 3, lined out in the 5th inning, then bounced out in the 6th. So he's hit the ball hard tonight 3 times. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Nunez is on deck. Austin Bryce kind of slings that one, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's Bryce as he sets and deals, and it's low and away. 2 balls and a strike. This is, you talked about relievers coming in, and you don't have much of an adrenaline rush. These are at bats that you just can't give away.
Yeah.
They all go on your baseball card. There's a swing and a tapper foul. It's 2-2. I don't think Arroyo's at the age yet where he's yet to worry about him giving away at bats.
Yeah, I think he's going to go up there. He's trying to get as much as possible. And he's ready. This guy's throwing hard. This is a great matchup for a guy like Arroyo. He wants fastballs.
Flips one out to right, and coming in is Schebler to make the catch. In these small ballparks, it's hard to dump one in front of these outfielders, and Arroyo couldn't do it. So that's out number 1, and here's Nunez.
Well, these guys in the outfield here in this ballpark, they play here enough, and there's enough, Hatcher over there, third base coach, great outfielder, works with the outfielders really, really well. He tells these guys, hey, if the ball's hit hard over your head in this ballpark, it's a homer or off the wall. So you can't rob that most of the time. Take away all those bloops, and so they don't have a blast where it becomes a 2 or 3 run homer.
That's a good point. Nunez takes a strike, and it's 0-1. The difference is in Colorado, you really have the same philosophy if it's hit over your head, but the ballpark is so big that you can't close out the gaps that way.
That's right. A lot of doubles and triples come from that.
Tapper foul to Nunez. It's 0-2.
Colorado, that's the biggest problem, though, is because that jam shot that might be a ball right to shortstop or second base or one of the infielders, or maybe they have to go back on it, now floats a little further and drops in front of the outfielders.
It is. It's a nightmare. 0-2 to Nunez. Got him with a breaking ball. Pretty good one, too. So 2 outs, and here's Gorkis Hernandez. Gorkis tonight hit a fly ball to deep center field in the 5th inning after popping out in the 2nd. He did pick up a base hit in the 7th. And the first pitch is a called strike, and it's 0-1. Hernandez just trying to get Hundley in at bat, and Hundley's on deck. And now it's 0-2. Votto. And that's the ball game. So on this rainy night here in Cincinnati, game 1 goes to the Reds.
It does. It's a frustrating game, but that's what we talked about at the beginning of the game. There's too many walks. Take away the walks, take away a lot of those runs. So hopefully the Giants staff can come back in tomorrow and make an adjustment.
That's it. Forget about this one. Another one tomorrow. The beauty of baseball is you got another one tomorrow. As the fireworks go off, we're going to tell you, if you don't know, the final score. The Reds 13 and the Giants 3. Stay tuned. Esurance Giants postgame live. That's going to start right now.